Welcome to RP Live. Do not fear, Dave Orton has not resigned. He's sunning himself at a wedding in Italy. He's panicking. Why aren't you on, Nat? What's happened? He blamed me. We apologise for being slightly late. Our quizmaster, the Melrose, sadly got held up in a train traffic problem. East Coast trains. Not good, but he's here. The panel is full. Ding, ding, round one. It is Goodwood. We have got 5 glorious days of action to look forward to. All live here for you with us this afternoon. It's a star-studded, glorious Goodwood, but we have a star-studded panel. To my immediate left is Graeme Rodway, Graeme Rodway, a.k.a. G-Rod. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Nat. Almost lost my earpiece then. Yeah, I think it's going to fall out in a minute, but yeah, hopefully someone from the wardrobe team will come and fix me up here, because we have that here in RP Live. You know, we have wardrobe, we have makeup. That's why Melrose was so late, spent so much time in there. And yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be a great day. I mean, Saturday was a really tough day, Nat. I don't think I had a winner, and we must be due one, surely.
Don't worry about it. We've got 5 days of racing, plenty of time to... And actually, to be fair, we'll get into it later, but I am aware it is 1:43 and the first race we're covering is 1:50, but plenty of betting opportunities. The reason we've got this amazing panel is to give you the insights, the top tips. But the Quizmaster, Melrose, you're finally here. Thanks for joining. Looking pretty perfect. Hair's dappers. Great to have you in the studio.
You wouldn't believe what I fitted into 3 minutes. As I arrived here. The East Coast Main Line, it tried its damnedest, but I was not to be denied.
No, will not hold you down. Well, let's go over the water to the one and only Barry Orr of Betfair. Barry, nice to see you as always. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really looking forward to the 5 days here on Racing Post Live. 5 days, 30 races. It's going to be a cracker, isn't it? And look at Melrose there. He's like a Bond villain. He didn't turn a hair, like a duck. Everything happened under the water, and he's just calm and controlled. But good to see everyone in the studio.
He is cool as a cucumber. That's what we like to see. So you never know. Secretly sweating inside. But look, RP Live, as I said, we are live. It's interactive. Like, subscribe, share, hashtag RP Live, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah. We want to hear from you. That is the point. We're here to have fun, and we're here to give you some tips, but we want to hear from you. Now, this is our opportunity to showcase Betfair and Sportsbook. So what we like to do is to start with Barry Orr and Keith Melrose tapping the buttons, luckily not me, and actually starting off with a lucky 15.
Yeah, we're going to kick on with a lucky 15. We do it every week. It's for charity. Fingers crossed. Charity this time round is retraining of race horses, and hopefully we'll land one of these lucky 15s once. But it'd be good just to get a winner after last Saturday. We didn't have one winner. So this week, or today, we're starting off 4 consecutive races, and the first is going to be Soto Sizzler. Currently around a 20 to 1 chance. We can odds boost that, actually. We've 8 odds boost token on the account. We can apply an odds boost from 20 to 1 to 22 to 1. So I'd ask you to do that on each of these, please, Keith. Our second leg, we're going to go for Marban. He's currently, I think, around a 11 to 1 chance. We can odds boost that out to 12 in the Vintage Stakes. Our third leg then is in the Lennox. It's Pogo. Run a big race from the front, although it's going to be taken off for the pace by Lord of the Lodge early doors. We can also odds boost that from 11 to 2 to 6 to 1. Our last leg is Princess Zoe in the Stayers race. That's really warming up to be a cracker. 25 to 1 for Princess Zoe. We can odds boost that out to 28 to 1. So it's a lucky 15. We're doing it for a quid each way. So 15 bets, 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 singles. We're going to do it each way, so it's going to cost us 30 quid. And like I said, all of these and showcasing the functionality of Sportsbook and the Exchange are for charity. And we just urge everyone to bet responsibly throughout the week. It is a long week, 30 live races here on Racing Post Live.
Exactly. Go steady. There's no rush. We talk about a long week, but we're not too far away at all, actually, from our first. So before we kind of surmise the rest of the week, I think we really should get stuck into what looks a pretty open contest. Am I being polite there with the 150, the Chesterfield Cup handicap? But a brilliant handicap at that, though. I'm absolutely not knocking it. It's brilliant, but it is pretty wide open. G-Rod, can we start with you on your fancy?
Yeah, very difficult race, isn't it,
to
kick off with that. But I thought that maybe Soto Sizzler might run well. He runs really well on downhill tracks. All of his best form comes at Epsom. He ran really 2 cracking races there earlier this season. He beat Aqualois, who was won a listed race. He certainly won at York, didn't he, the other day? I think it was a Friday. And then he went on to win finish second in a hot race there next time off a higher mark. So last time out he disappointed at Sandown, but I don't think that galloping track, small field really suits Soto Sizzler. He's kind of the sort of horse, he needs a good pace to run at. He loves a downhill track. Can't get any more different at Sandown, can you? Round that bend, up the long hill. Don't think it suited him. So I'm expecting Soto Sizzler bounce back. He has, of course, won at the course over a mile and a half at this meeting a few years ago. So not only does he love Epsom, he wins at Goodwood as well. And he's quite high in the handicap, but I think he'd be very hard to keep out of places. So I'm on Soto Sizzler each way in it.
Nice, and Barry is of similar opinion. It's nice to see you two agreeing.
Yeah, I have him in the lucky 15. Going back to that in 2018, he won here when trained by William Knight off 79. He's a horse that's going to be held up out the back. They have to settle him. He didn't settle either in Sandown. But if they settle him, there's a cutaway as well worth mentioning, Natalie, that they haven't always had at this meeting in the straight. With about 2 furlongs to run, there's a cutaway. So I don't think you're going to have as many hard luck stories, and there's going to be plenty of them, but not as many maybe as in previous years with that cutaway. It allows horses a bit of space when just after turning into the straight. So hopefully he'll get a run, and hopefully the worst he can do is run into a place. It's 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook each way punters as well. So that's a good concession here. But what we're going to do, please, we're going to have 25 quid each way on the sportsbook to avail of those 6 places. So 25 quid each way at 20 to 1 on Soto Sizzler.
Easy. There it is, 20 to 1. 25 each way, Barry, yeah?
Please.
And then we'll place bets.
Brilliant.
It's interesting. Legend of Dubai has gone favourite on the exchange. Really strong Legend of Dubai, 7.4. Just fine as well. Ryan Moore riding that for the Queen is strong at 8.2. Brilliant Lights, a little negative out to 9.49 and 9.4. Caradoc as well is drifting out to 10.5 after seeing early money for that and some money for Mokdasab, who's 12.
Thank you for that market update. Well, Keith, I quite fancy Brilliant Light because I was going to pick your enormous brains.
Enormous brains?
Enormous brains. So big they're just bursting with so much information. But it was really about he's drawn 2. And I thought that would be a really good thing for Brilliant Light. Is that reflected in the market? Talk us through this draw bias. I want to know.
Yeah, well, Barry says there's so many of those hard luck stories up the rail at Goodwood. Horses just tend to drift towards it as they tire, and there tends to be a lot of sort of scrimmaging around there. Sometimes you want to come wide of it, to be quite honest. You want to either beat the rush up the rail, or you want to go around it. So Brilliant Light's got to do one of those things. He probably will, hopefully, will go on from it. Not surprised to see Legend of Dubai backed into favouritism. He was favourite for the Royal Hunt Cup. Quite a short price favourite, 72 for a Hunt Cup. When he last ran, and off the back of a very impressive win at Newmarket. You know, this isn't the sort of race that attracts Hunt Cup favourites at 72. It's the sort of race that attracts Soto Sizzlers, Bell Rock, who's been a very solid each-way option in this race. So yeah, he's the sort of horse that stands out a little bit in this race. My selection is a horse that's very well handicapped. He's not running many of these handicaps, and I think the fact that this race is such an open race for older horses is why I'm quite keen on Etonian, who's very, very well handicapped on his old form. He was thought to be a Guineas horse at one point by the Hannon team. Hasn't really done it in good races. He was running against Baid 3 or 4 runs ago, and has gradually worked his way down the grades a little bit, and off 97 now. Last time I think it was his first run at a mile 2. He made the running in a small field that day and got swallowed up a little bit. I'm hoping they revert to the sort of usual tactics. I remember him making his name with a big move round the outside at Sandown, I seem to remember, when he was a juvenile. And he looked a really good horse back then. 97 is not a problem for a horse of his talent. But it's a very open race. It's a sort of race that you're much happier looking at as a place pot punter, I think. You know, your Soto Sizzlers, your Bell Rocks are great horses for that sort of bet. But yeah, it's a little bit take your chances with a win bet, and yeah, so it's Etonian for me. Sure is.
Well, look, it's a nice big field this, and if you're just tuning in, why are you late? Because we're never late. We are a little bit behind. Cap Francais was just being re-girthed in pictures down at the start, so plenty of horses down, just circling at the start. I actually think we're yet to start the loading process, I'm afraid, just to keep you up to date. Now, I think something happened with the girth, because there's a new girth been brought to Cap Francais, and they're just putting that on now. It's basically like the strap that goes around the saddle to keep the tack on. It's quite important, to be fair, because without that, we don't want the tack slipping off. We need it.
Fall off.
Yeah.
You might fall off. We really don't need that coming out the stores. So that is just an update for you. Cap Francais is just being retacked. So yeah, I'm on Brilliant Light. The market, Barry, any big changes? It looks pretty settled.
Yeah, it's pretty mature now, the market, Nat. 7.4 Legend of Dubai. 8.8 Just Fine continues to attract support. Bell's Rock, another springer in the market, into 9.4 now. Bell's Rock, Harry Davis in the plate there. Has been matched at a high of 18 on the Betfair Exchange. 13 West End Charmer is quite weak. Forest Falcon, actually, with Lanfranco Dettori in the plate, 21 now. That's coming in for a little support as well, the Frankie factor.
And what about some others? Yeah, I know what you say with Legend of Dubai, because I actually thought this one too would be a really positive step for this horse. It would be certainly one that would make one on my shortlist. But what I have written about here is Arcube a little bit. And I thought Arcube was pretty interesting at a bigger price. Let's look at the price of a blind Nats Green. 22's there in our pictures on Betfair. Look, I thought he finished his race really nice this time. It's kind of what captured my eye, because I think what's really important for a lot of people punting or trying to pick the winner is, for me, I like to look at the replays. I just think it just tells you so much, and you can really learn a lot. He's drawn 18.
Can watch the form rather than read it, Nat. Is that what you're saying?
God, you're both here to help me steer the ship, aren't you? And that is exactly why.
I was a bit frustrated by Arcube last time out, because he sort of showed up on my radar, and for some reason, I can be a little bit biased against foreign form every now and again. I can tend to get into that habit of thinking that, he's been running in Bahrain, so they probably don't think he's that good, And I remember thinking, he's been running in Bahrain, so he's probably not that good. And then up he pops at 33-1, which is very annoying. But
not a very exposed horse overall, is he? He's only had about 15, 20 runs, hasn't he? And that was a big career best from him when he popped up at Sandown last time after that winter away.
I think a big field will suit him.
He's gone up in the weights. He's up £4. Kieran Schumacher taking the ride. But I think we've got the last one. Soto going in now. Is he?
Soto is going in. He looks well, doesn't he?
Come on, the
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
He's just being a bit.
Acting a bit mulish, is he?
He's thinking, Barry. I'm not totally sure I'm up for this today.
At the Summer Meeting of Goodwood, they get a lot of horse flies down at the start. Now, you would know more about this than me, Nat, but a horse fly is a little bit annoying.
You're never going to see it in pictures because you won't be able to zoom. But I've got a long sleeve top on. Can you see?
Horse fly bite today.
Oh, you can see?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the beauty of HD for you, shows every blemish. They are really painful. They've got these right little flipping nippy bits, and they get in, and the horses hate them.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate name then, isn't it?
A horsefly.
Yeah, if horses don't like them.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
I thought they'd have got on famously with that
I presume
name.
they like horses then.
They love horses. Sadly, they like the blood. Right, number one, West End Charmer is hopefully about to load. Got the blindfold on. Looks quite settled. Has gone into the stalls. Keith Melrose is very kindly going to commentate the whole day, because I'm quite frankly dreadful. And they're off
for Glorious Goodwood. And in 2022, slowly away there was Caravana. And the rest of them, Lord Protector was slowly away too, but the rest of them seem to have got away reasonably well. They're across the width of the track on this mile 2 start. They actually run uphill for a little bit, Rodders, and then turn right. I've never been to Goodwood.
Yeah. They come across the side of the course, and then I think we've had this before.
Yeah.
Do they go the higher bend or the bottom bend? I'm fairly certain they go in the higher loop here.
Do they? Because it looks like, maybe it does.
We're going to find out anyway.
We're going to find out. Forest Falcon's now going wide to come round to go with the lead, and Pallavicino was also up there. Etonian is right up there, and so is Just Fine for the Queen.
Yeah, they're taking the high bend here.
They are taking the high bend here, and so it's a big, long straight in this race, and we've still got Lord Protector out the back there. Barishnikov is right out the back there. Soto Sizzler, that looks to be in second last there. Caravana has made a little bit of ground up from the back, but at the front, it's still the horses we talked about before. Pallavicino from Etonian. Forest Falcon, who's come all the way around the field to get there, Just Fine. And on the inside there, I think that's West End Charmer, or is it Brilliant Light? It's a Godolphin horse. It is a Godolphin horse, so it's West End Light. Brilliant Light, sorry. West End Charmer's on the outside, and then Mokhtasab is in the middle there.
I think we're in trouble here. Barry.
What's the market saying?
It's a long way back.
Yeah, it's still wide open. 8 Brilliant Light, 7.6 Just Fine is in the box seat there. We've also got Mokhtasab into 9 along with West End Charmer.
Bellrock and Arcuba the first to go
Legend
wide to
of
try and
Dubai
get a
now.
run here. Legend of Dubai goes wide to challenge. The three
well.
horses that have swung right out wide to challenge. And look who else has swung out. Lord Protector, who was very slowly away, has come out to have a crack as well. Just Fine is there at the
comes the
front.
cutaway.
And Forest Falcon has hit the front here, it looks like.
Yeah,
He's
it's
gone
just
on, he's
the-
gone for home.
it's
Etonian's still there,
Johnston.
Just Fine. And who's coming through here? We've got Ace Rothstein who's come through and have a little challenge.
don't get
Legend
on.
of Dubai coming over the top, but here comes Moktasab as well. He's
Oof.
flying. But Forest Falcon, is he going to stay there?
Johnson special.
Here comes Brilliant Light trying to make a bit of ground. Etonian's going to get
He's
placed, but they're
away,
not going to
he's
get to Forest
flying.
Falcon. That is a great and clever ride from Frankie Dettori, who's gone right round the outside early on to get prominent. He's kicked for home 3 out. They really did not go much of a pace. Frankie knew that. He always knows that. And he has made the best of his way home and nicked the first race of Glorious Goodwood 2022.
That is a Johnson special, a Frankie special, and how good. We'll get to it later because we've got loads to talk about today. Come on, talk to us. We want to hear from you too, but pretty nice for Frankie in the opener, isn't it, at Glorious Goodwood?
It'll be very sweet for Frankie, won't it? You know, I must admit to thinking that at the age of 52, is it now, I think?
51?
I want to be retired by then. I don't ride. I
Yeah.
don't know how to sit and write stuff.
Yeah, I'd certainly want to be out there on the lime kilns or wherever it is at 5 a.m. But no, fair play to Frank. He's going to love that one, isn't he? Because he's obviously lost the ride on Stradivarius, who of course is going to be one of the hopefully
Just
one of the
to
stars.
cover the finishing order, I
Interesting
think
there. Nothing came from behind.
No, nothing at
Everything
all.
that was in the vanguard throughout, finished first, second, third, and fourth.
it was a bit
Nothing came from behind there.
it was a muckabout of a race, if anything, Barry. So maybe it was a pace thing rather than anything else.
So no, it looks like they put plenty of water on it, Keith.
Yeah,
Plenty
they
of
might
water.
have done.
The horses
Well,
that
they
I
might-
thought would
Well, we've just seen Gosden walking the tracks
Yeah.
pensively, so that suggests it's on the softer side of good, because obviously that's the Stradivarius. Forest Falcon there, by the way, if I can get to the first 5 or 6 here, I had a look. Brilliant Light was second, Etonian was fourth, Kenzai Warrior was
Muktasab
fifth,
was third.
Moktasab was third, you're absolutely right.
Etonian and then
And Kenzai Warrior was sixth,
Lord
I think,
Protector.
and Lord Protector was fifth.
Okay, so we were there or thereabouts, team. But Barry, when did they know when Forest Falcon? Because actually, when you watch the replay, he's always been in a pretty good position there.
he was always in the box seat. Yeah, he had a Betfair SP of 20.2, but he was third or fourth throughout the race.
Yeah.
When he took it up, it was all over, really. There was nothing coming from behind, nothing travelling. The cutaway, none of them wanted to go over onto the far rail. Interestingly, they all preferred to stay down the centre of the track. So that may be an indication of things to come.
Quite. That is actually interesting. Is this, you know, pick the bones at this race? Is this where we now get hints and insights of what's to come for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we might see Trushan now. What do you think?
Well, Trushan runs
Yeah.
on that, looking at that ground.
Sure to run.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
will
Sure
run.
to run.
Stradivarius is more likely not to run on that ground, but look how much they're cutting it up
Yeah.
behind them.
I mean, yeah, in pictures now, you can really see the divots going in properly into that turf. I know the official going good to firm in places. There was 0.2 millimetres of rain for lunch.
I'd say the clock won't confirm that going.
Yeah, I totally agree, Barry. Totally agree. I think 0.2 of natural rain, obviously been watered. But if you're looking, like Barry said, the clock and the way they are cutting into that, yeah, I mean, this is exciting for us. Trushan.
We want to see Trushan, we want to see Strad, we want to see Kyprios, we want to see the big three.
Well, the thing is, if being extremely cynical here for a second, if you were the clerk of the course and you wanted this big race to go ahead, you would be inclined towards the softer side rather than because.
Well, but that's what he's done, Keith, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
He's ensured that he's getting that to the exclusion of everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And Stradivarius, he's not going to pull Stradivarius out. This is his last run. He's not going to get pulled out. So Trushan's the danger of getting pulled out. So they've just made sure it's the soft side. And Trushan's going to run now. Strad, they'll have a look. He'll run what he normally does these days. You know, he'll run at about 115, 118. That'll be him. They'll blame the ground a bit. Everybody gets to go home reasonably happy.
And Trushan wins.
And Trushan wins.
There you go. We all go home now. That's it. That's the show. You've got all the winners. No, it was good. It was good to see that first one. Like I say, we've got Frankie in pictures now, coming in with a. Is he Jackie's going to do a flying dismount?
I don't know. No, I'm not. I reckon he's all business this week, Frankie.
He looks a
very.
bit. It's pensive. That are quite a good word to describe. He just looks a bit. And actually, there looks like there's some pretty stormy clouds looming above the racecourse.
I think I just saw him shout, "It's a bit soft for him, John." Bit soft for him, John.
Can you all lip me? No, don't be silly. Anyway, good price that there, as we can see. Forest Falcon, Brilliant Light, Mock to Saab, Etonian for our Coral Chesterfield Cup handicap. Oops, shouldn't have said the first bit. Naughty me.
I'm sure Barry will let you off. I'm sure he'll let you off.
I've got to make a few mistakes on my first rodeo. Poor Dave Orton, like I say, I told him we were a bit late. He thought, what has she done? She's brought my show down within the first 10 minutes.
He's done a fairly good job of that himself down the years now, old Dave. So, you know.
He texted me, he was like, I'm in Rome.
I can just...
he's
on a beach?
The show isn't on. Where are you? I'm like, it's not me.
The show's just nip in any bar in Rome, Dave. It'll be there. They must be showing it in the piazzas. Or they've not got a fan zone at the Trevi Fountain showing this.
God, I don't know. I think hopefully he's checked out. He's having a nice time now. He knows that the show is actually going on. But as I alluded to earlier, this is day one of Glorious Goodwood. Great front page of the Racing Post. Some really amazing articles by Keith and Graeme, which we can kind of go through the narrative of the day, because you've made some really fascinating points about the vintage, about the Lennox, about our stayers, something that I want to talk more about, because how come, really, in the Goodwood Cup, we've actually got the clashes that we want? And then, sadly, Wednesday's all about Baid and no Kyprios because of that abscess in his hind foot. Now, just for non-sort of horsey folk that are high up there with this abscess situation, I can assure you, basically an abscess is what it says on the tin, but it's just so much pressure. I cannot tell you, you have to basically poultice it with hot bandaging, veterinary assistance, because you have to have the abscess to burst. And one thing you don't do is give like antibiotics. It actually makes it worse.
Okay.
So you don't ever antibiotic an abscess. You want the abscess to come out, but it's incredibly painful. It's not an excuse if they really can't run. I think it's on his pastern, so it would probably be like a top poultice on the pastern there.
So you don't think that they saw that Baid was entered and thought, oh no, we don't fancy that. We'll go to France or somewhere else.
You're on the wind up here, because they did switch Buick, didn't they, at the last minute? I was actually watching the decks come through live on the Racing Admin site, and basically neither he nor Angel Blue, Modern Games or Angel Blue, were in until 5 to 10. When they both realised Kyprios wasn't running, they both turned up in the race. Obviously, Modern Games, he's a stablemate, but I think Angel Blue wasn't going to run until they saw this. When there was only 5 in it, he thought, oh, hello, bit of prize money here. In the event they've stuck him in. And Modern Games is obviously coming right behind. But it's a fascinating race tomorrow. I might be backing Baid, you know. And I'll definitely get a rap on the knuckles from Barry here, because the Tote Whirlpool is going to be all over the place with that Japanese horse, isn't it?
He's so cynical, isn't he? He is so cynical. Yeah, like, oh, the Japanese are going to pump this 50 to 1 shot and I'm going to have a bit of Baid. What price do you think you're going to get?
Yeah.
I think I'd get 1.6, wouldn't you? £1.60.
1.6.
Are you mad?
1.6.
Yeah.
Tote.
Come on, Barry.
6 on chance.
On
6 to 4 on a 6 on chance.
On the Tote Whirlpool, commingled.
Like, there's professionals out there, Keith, that are going to
I know those professionals. Where's the tipping point?
Sixes on, and they can bet 4s on it. They'll make it a 4s on chance.
They might guarantee it's £1.30, £1.40. But there's going to be millions.
5 to 2 on.
There's millions
of
dead.
Really, when you look at the opposition, Keith, you know, like there's going to be syndicates betting into that pool. Don't worry about that.
That's it.
There's no way it's going to be a 6 to 4 on chance.
The clever money against the real dead money coming from abroad is going to be the balance. I don't know quite where that balance will sit, but basically a lot of that dead money from abroad is not going to be on Baid. And I'm interested.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Me and you will have a little side bet.
Yeah, come on, now we're talking.
I like
come on.
You think 6 to 4?
6 to 4.
It's going to go off.
No, I don't think 6 to 4 is going to go off.
1.6.
Yeah, I know it's 1. I know it's 1.6 is.
Again?
I know that's what 1.6 is.
You said 1.6. You
yeah,
thought it would...
no, I thought... Barry, you sometimes say things that are a little bit exaggerated. I do think we'll get bigger than 1.2 though.
So what, would you say 1.4 maybe? 2 to 5?
1.4 is 1.4 is realistic, I think.
I'd say over it all day long. Using that as a reference point, even 3s on as a reference point, I'd say over it.
Okay, right. Well, that's.
I just don't think that those syndicates, there's no way they're going to let a 6 on chance go off 3s on a tote pool.
Yeah.
When they can bet bundles into it.
Yeah, I don't know how big those syndicates are. I know they exist, Barry, and I don't know. But the thing is, usually in the tote, they're not betting against an awful lot of money. Have they got the money to scale up when there's massive money there? Yeah.
Yeah, if it's buying money like that.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Right, well that clears that up, doesn't it? I think we. What are you looking at?
He could get beat, couldn't he?
Could he get?
No. Why?
What beats him though?
With what?
I don't know. What about alcohol?
She's very good, but you might have to break a
Yeah.
sweat to beat her. But the thing is, she's run a career best last time, right, in the July Cup. That's what we've said on our PRs. And to be honest, I think that's it's a positive view of the July Cup form. And she's still got £7 to find. So she doesn't beat him.
Hey, look, horses can always get beat, and this is why.
But he has to beat himself.
Yeah,
Nothing's going to beat Bide. Nothing is going to beat Bide on merit.
He does have to beat himself.
He has to beat himself, doesn't
But
he?
that's Wednesday, which is all about Bide. Still coming up there. We've got Thursday, which is a great day for the fillies and for the mares. The action just keeps on coming. Friday, the King George. We've got the Goodwood's Golden Mile to look forward to, and Saturday, one of my favourites has got to be the Stewards Cup as well. We're only on day one. We're just warming up. We're just easing our way into 5 days of fun. And I'm only here steering the ship for 3, so don't worry. Unless you prefer me to Dave. I don't mind. Whichever. But we missed Dave. We really missed it. It's weird, isn't it, in the studio, Dave?
Well, it's a lot quieter with him, Dave, that's for sure. Nat, I just fancy, this is a good point, right? Luke Rawson on the chat is saying disgusting from the clerk that they've watered so much to get Trueshan to run.
Barry's point as well.
I don't think it's disgusting at all. I actually think it's a very sensible thing to do, right? This flat season has lacked any particular outstanding race that has really set the world alight. Yes, the Derby was a great race, but how many times?
Clashes?
Yeah, how many times has Baid turned up and won, weak races? How can it possibly be disgusting that he's watered so much to get Trueshan to run? Surely everyone wants Trueshan to run. This is what we want to see. This is what racing is all about. It's not about Kyprios turning up and beating a load of inferior opposition, Baid turning up tomorrow and beating a load of... It's about seeing 3 top-class horses all run. It doesn't inconvenience any of those 3 horses, in my opinion. Strad goes on soft ground, Kyprios acts on the ground, and Trueshan acts on the ground. They're all going to be fine on it. I think it's a great thing that he's done. I'm so happy that he's put enough water on there that we're going to see Trueshan today. It would have been a complete anticlimax if Trueshan had been pulled out.
Yeah. And Barry, what do you... Because there is a point, though, because...
I think there's other owners and trainers with horses that were going to the meeting and like, genuinely good to firm ground. That doesn't look genuinely good to firm ground. It looks good ground at the very worst.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say there's much firm in it. There's other owners...
What's wrong with good ground?
Who are paying bills for their horses and are going to Goodwood in the hope that they get the ground that those horses want, and for it to be overwatered for the sake of one horse. And it's been tedious all season long. Entering Trueshan, we're going to wait and see. We're going to take him out. We're going to wait till the first race and see. It's been boring. Just run the horse. Run the horse. He's won on good ground. Just run him. He's won on decent ground. Just run him and stop wrapping him up in cotton wool all the time. And to appease people to say, oh, great for a clash. Run the horse on the ground that's there.
While I absolutely agree that you should be running, there's barely a flat horse that shouldn't be running in a good ground group race. The times have come in, and it's 2 minutes 5 and a bit in that first race. The ground's not actually that soft. The ground's probably about bang on good.
So do you think what basically what we're seeing in pictures was really lovely grass covering, which, as we know, like even when I was at where was I the other day? God, my brain's great. Where was I? I was at Newbury, and the lovely, I went out and watched all the big irrigators. I learned a lot about irrigation, these big things. And my God, do you know how long it takes with 2 irrigators to water the whole track at Newbury?
Oh, it'll be hours, hours and hours and hours.
Quizmaster, take a guess.
6 hours.
G-Rod.
I reckon that it takes about 4 hours.
Barry Orr. What was the question?
Nat? Sorry, I zoned out
How
there.
well do I know you?
For the first time
Barry,
today.
I know you so well. I just went, what was the question?
Can we ding that down
Barry,
when we get bingo as well?
When the irrigators, the big shh thing,
case you're in any
how
doubt.
long it takes 2 machines to water all the track at Newbury?
All the track at Newbury.
How many hours?
Yeah, I'd say half a day, maybe, would it?
10 hours.
12 hours?
10.
Yeah, it'd be long. Well, it has to take its time, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Very slow process.
But 10 hours. hours. So I got talking to the groundsman at Newbury, and it fascinates me because I'm always curious. I want to learn more. So there I am at the bar. He was quite good looking, actually. I am married, by the way, but he was quite good. We got chatting. I was like, so how long? Because he saw me walk the track, and I just kept staring at the machines. But it's pretty fascinating stuff and very, very technical. And do you know Newbury have their own borehole of 32 metres so they can supply their own water towards the track?
I think I did. I knew some courses have that. I knew there's maybe a few courses have got that.
It's amazing. So any viewers, have you got any interesting facts? 'Cause, you know, we always want to learn. It's an interactive show. So speak to me. We do have it. Oh, Chris Hall, thank you, Chris. Good luck to the trifecta queen. Hope you smash it, Nat. Much deserved. Well, I've got my festival gear on. I've got my coconut, which is full of actual coconut water because
it's actually real coconut.
It's for rehydration.
Yes.
Isn't that what water's for? I have heard the thing before about coconut water being better than actual water, but you know.
Can we please clip that up? Is that not what water's for? Well, it's got more vitamins in it. I don't know.
I've also got 5 races to call today, so I would quite like the gantry to come in and give me a class at some point.
So in the studio today, we have Dave and Dan, and they are helping the show get on the road, and they are also supplying us with water, teas, coffees, bacon rolls.
I need to know Dan's secret because he's come from the same part of the world as me, and he's not had to get here in 10 minutes on a Boris bike. So Dan, how have you managed it? Come and tell us and bring me a glass of water while you're at it.
Come and tell us, Dan. Dan's actually a very good tip. So the Goodwood Cup, we should get some of Dave and Dan's picks.
Never an RP live show goes by without hearing Dan screaming from the gantry because he's got one in the finish.
Yeah, he's really good. He's very successful. Right, let's move on. I can see the lovely Charlie Johnston in pictures. He's being interviewed after the winner in the first. So a good start for Team Johnston kicking off the 150. But next, we're going to turn our attention to the 225, the Japan Racing Association Vintage Stakes. We get straight stuck into a Group 2 here for the 2-year-olds. Now, Keith, I liked your article in the Racing Post about the Vintage Stakes. Can you just, if people can't, people haven't had time yet.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to treat people here because I write stuff about these races, but there's always a subtext, and the subtext is I think this is a pretty poor Vintage Stakes. I don't. This is the race of Expert Eye and Highland Rail and some really good Galileo Gold won it. Some really good horses. I don't see a Guineas winner. I don't see a Breeders' Cup Mile winner. I don't see a horse like that in this race. I think it's quite a weak race. Now, it's a race that has, the point I also made historically, it used to be a Derby horses race. It's the first group race you'd occasionally see Derby horses. Sir Percy was the last Derby winner to do the double. You also had, not Generous, Dr. Devious did it. Troy, I think, did it. And you also had some other good middle distance horses that won this race too. Nowadays, they've decided that we don't need to get an next year's Derby horse in the vintage. We just run a 2-year-old in it that stays 7 furlongs, and that's what they've started doing. So nowadays it's more a race for milers next year. But it's all dependent on the quality of the horses in there. And when your favourite is Holloway Boy, who has been readily admitted by his owner was a social runner when he made his debut in the Chesham and won it at 80-1. You know, at the Chesham, me and Ross Briley, Matt Garner, another show we do, Flat Pack, we talk all the time about how the Ascot form, the Royal Ascot form is working out this year. But there's always exceptions. In the Chesham, the race won by the 80-1 debutant looks to be possibly the exception to that. Nothing's come out of that race since and run really, really well. In fact, the best one it has is a horse I've tipped for this.
Since 1996.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ring the bell.
Go on.
Ring the bell.
Oh.
Get the bell.
Since 1996, it goes to our panel. That was the last debutant to win a Royal Ascot. What was the horse? Who trained it? Who owned it?
I know it as well.
Did you look this up? I've not got a clue. I'm going to do my silks for the next while you're at it, Giro, though.
Come on, we just guess.
I know it, but I can't tell you. But
Do you want the
when you tell
Barry,
me, I
do you
will
know it?
I remember hearing it during Royal Ascot, all right, but it's already gone out.
So the horse, the name of the horse begins with an S. That's S for sugar. You can all join in as well, viewers, if you know this.
I feel like I'm playing Hangman.
The trainer's name begins with an S. The trainer's name begins with an S.
Stouty?
No.
Soror?
Yes, you got it. Soror.
Oh, what's that? Oh, right.
The horse, Sham.
In 96?
Sham. Shamika.
Right, I've been here all day now.
I didn't think it was that.
Oh, it might not be.
Thanks for sharing that.
What's it called?
It's okay,
That
Barry.
was a cliffhanger. You really have me.
What's
up
it
there.
called?
Barry,
With that one.
I think we lost a bit of momentum with that, didn't we? It went down like a lead balloon. Right, no more tumbleweed. Whee!
Charlie Johnson's on. He's doing well, isn't he? He's had a good start to the meeting, old Charlie.
Let's forget these quiz games. Anyway,
That's his first. It's his first Goodwood runner, actually, isn't it?
yes,
It's his first Goodwood runner and a winner for Charlie Johnson.
Charlie and Mark.
Well, yes, he's now
Johnson.
got his name on the licence. He's been assistant trainer to his dad for years and years, and now he's got his name on the licence.
And they're both qualified vets.
Yes, I suspect there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say, it's not nepotism, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, a bit of determinism, family determinism in that, because Mark knows the merit that being a vet has brought to his craft.
Yeah.
And he said Charlie was always going to
Well,
succeed the
And
race,
Mark
wasn't he?
knows the merit of being a pilot to his
Yeah,
craft. 'cause he can
that's a
fly
better
himself-
fact about. That's
he
a
can
better
fly
fact.
himself to the racecourse.
But what's the number one qualification for being a racehorse trainer? Your dad was a racehorse trainer.
It's the same for
Oh, yeah.
anything in sport, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's something the baseball, Major League Baseball, you're 800 times more likely to play Major League Baseball if your dad did.
Is that right?
There's something crazy in racing as well, though, isn't there? Jockeys, it's very strong narrative with your father, trainers with your father.
It's being part of the world, and let's be honest, in a lot of cases there is nepotism too. But there's also an element of being part of that world and being surrounded by that from such a young age.
Oh, sure, and horses are addictive. Just
Horses are addictive.
It should be a genuine medical. My husband thinks it should be a genuine medical problem.
Well, does he think you've got a horse addiction?
Yes. When I've been missing for 6 hours.
doesn't
Where have you
surprise
been?
me,
And
that.
you
It doesn't
stink.
surprise me.
I've
Is this
been
the
in
N plus?
yards.
Is this the N+1 rule? Because cyclists have this. What's the correct number of bikes? And the cyclists always say it's N+1. It's the amount I've currently got +1. It's the same with horses, is it? It's the correct amount of horses is the amount of horses I've got +1.
Listen,
ring the bell for
Ring the
Christmas.
bell, ring the bell, because Dan is. Thank God Dan is here, producer Dan, because he's in my ear. Barry, we need your bet. Thank you, Dan. You need to keep me in check, keep me in line, because otherwise
He's on the phone.
We're going
Barry's
off on
on
a
the phone.
tangent here, aren't we? Well, he's a busy man, is Barry.
Busy. He's getting a bet on.
He's going to have to go.
I've got a lot going on here, lads. I've a lot going on. What was the question again?
What's your bet,
What's
Barry?
your bet?
Yeah. So, like Keith was saying, Holloway boy, there's a lot of holes in that form. He's 3.35 now on the Betfair Exchange. He has been matched low at 2.96. So he's on the slide, 2-1/8 to a little over 9-4. 5.6 Mysterious Night. My dear friend, 7.6. 7 Dornoch Castle. That's quite strong for Kieran Fallon. That has been matched at a high of 10. So plenty of momentum with him. The horse I like in it is Marban. Carried a penalty to beat We Could Be Heroes in Salisbury. It was tough there. Previous to that, he'd won 5 lengths in a Nottingham maiden. So what we're going to do here, because any one of these could take a massive step forward, Keith, I'm just going to look to back on the Betfair Exchange in the 3-place market, Marban, currently trading at 11-4. So we're going to have 25 quid on Marban at 11-4. I think Jamie Spencer popped this one out. He should be mid-div. He'll come to that cutaway. I think he'll get a good run. And he looks a real tough type of horse that should, at the very least, run into a place for us.
That's on for you, Barry. We didn't get matched immediately, but we got matched within. When I looked at it, we only had £9 at the 3.8. I thought, I'll be waiting minutes to get matched here. We were matched within 5 seconds.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm having a bet on it and I see there's less and a lot less than I'm about to stake there to take in the blue box, I think, will I get matched here? But we got matched there. This is, it's a big meeting.
Yeah.
And it's the main place market, really, the 3-place market. And we got matched in seconds.
I was going to ask, Barry, is it a bit like us today in the studio? We're just warming our way into it with a 5-day festival like Goodwood. We're talking about liquidity, talking about when it peaks, the crescendo of a meeting like this. Does it gradually build into a crescendo, or is it kind of pretty steady on throughout the 5 days?
Well, obviously Saturday would be the biggest day of the 5 festival days because it's the big betting day, just naturally. But in terms of the races that we'll be covering, it's the makeup of the race that would determine what liquidity is like on the Betfair Exchange. Obviously you're going to have the big race today, well over 1.5 million, I would suspect, will be matched in that on the Stayers race. Other races, the big handicaps mightn't be as much where you're betting 8 and 10 the field.
Yeah.
But so it's generally to make up the race, and if you have a short price favourite in there as well, if it's an opposable favourite, would determine what volumes are like.
No, it's pretty fascinating. So if you have just joined us, we're ahead of the 225, this vintage stakes. Just looking at the Margate Holloway Boy, 3.45. God, I do need glasses. Mysterious Night, 5.7. Donut Castle, 6.8. Dear My Friend, 7. Galeron at 9.
16.5 that is, or 15.5 Marbrand at 15 actually, 19.5 Dark 30, 48 Dandy Man Shines and 120 Jiffy Boy.
Thanks, Keith. God, I can't even do that.
This should be the new test at the opticians, shouldn't
No,
it?
this should be the new optician's test. I definitely.
Read the top row for me, please, Natalie. Can you read the top row? That says 225 Goodwoods. And in the second row, it's a bit harder. Japan Racing Association Vintage Stakes Group 2.
And then,
Can you read the next row?
Yeah, Holloway Boy. Anyway, for viewers though, Holloway Boy, because you did allude to it a little bit earlier, I think everybody does know the story, but if you didn't know the story, basically, the owner sort of rang Carl and said, I was meant to get a box, the box has fallen through, I need tickets. So Carl entered Holloway Boy, and actually at that point wasn't even particularly going to run him. He just get the tickets for the owner, and then said, "Oh, sod it." Literally, they were his words. "Sod it." I'll run him. So it has been a fabulous story. But as we've heard from Carl and in the paper, he is bullish about his chances.
Well, there was an awful lot of money knocking around for him first time out, if he was just there to be a social runner. I remember Barry and I covered the race together on this show, and Barry and I were both saying that he was widely available at sort of 100, 120 odd on Betfair, and then he came. There was an awful lot of money for him just before the off Holloway Boy.
You might find he's a really good looking horse, because in this race he's quite unique in that he's the only one that's by like a middle distance sire. He's by Ulysses, and all the rest are by, you've got Dark Angel, you've got Pivotal. I'm now going to look down the rest, they're the only two I remembered. You've got Gleneagles, Camacho, Oasis, Dream, Star Spangled Banner, Dandy Man, Mondial East. Most of them are sprinters.
Yeah.
So Ulysses is one of the very few sort of middle distance sires, one for next year. So Holloway Boy might look like a 3-year-old relative to the rest.
It's interesting that, the form of the race, they're very brave to turn down some of the offers, some eye-watering sums of money that they've been offered by all accounts, considering the form of the race and the way it's turned out. It's been a very brave move. You'd like to see them rewarded with it as well, but I think I'd have taken the money, Nat. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's a good point as well. I'd take money, Barry, for most things. I'd take money. I'll take the money. I'll take the money and run.
I thought,
thank you very much. I'm off. I mean, Holloway Boy's paid for himself already. With one run, bought for 60, won 59,000. What 300?
Maybe that they made. You can make a big thing about the horses behind him, but the time is okay.
Yeah.
Right. The sectionals, his sectionals compared to everything else in the race, is far better than anything else in the race. Right. So yes, it was a poor race, but let's not forget how he won it. He absolutely hammered them. He was in a different class to all these horses that have been being beaten next time out. So I think that, yes, make the point that the race is rotten and the form isn't great. But when you're making that point, you have to make the point also that this horse was in a different league to the rest of that field on that day. So I think he's the one to beat. I really do.
I like him.
Yeah.
I think Carl is absolutely excellent.
He was out the traps very quickly, wasn't he, Burke? His 2-year-olds were ahead of just about everybody else's, and maybe that's part of the reason Holloway Boy was able to do what he did at Ascot, because he was probably going on gallops with that thing that's going to run that extremely good 2-year-olds. It dramatised.
Dramatised. I mean, that was such an emphatic performance. So you are with Holloway Boy for your pick?
I think he's the one to beat, but no, I've backed Mysterious Boy.
Same as me.
Yeah.
Mysterious Night.
Mysterious Night, not Boy.
Please don't tell me there are two
Mysterious Boy is a song, isn't it?
Is it?
No, Mysterious
No, that's
Girl.
Mysterious
That's
Girl.
Peter Andre. Oh, look. Mysterious Girl.
Wanna be close to you.
I'm the same. Mysterious
good,
Night.
Keith.
What's your case?
My case is that he won his novice over 6.5, and he dropped back to 6 furlongs last time in the July Stakes behind Persian Force, and he wasn't quick enough. He came home stronger than anything in that race. Definitely wants further. Wasn't suited by the drop back in trip. Gets the 7 furlongs here. We've got Billy Buick on board, one of my favourite jockeys at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, Billy Buick's on board. Woo!
I can't think of a William who's less likely to go by Billy.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's heavily. Yeah. The Carl Burt money. This as well. I always find
Money's coming for who?
particularly significant.
Holloway boy.
I mean, it might
7-4 now from.
Well,
might
they
be-
are.
It
They
might be
are
an
down
absence
at the.
of, might be an absence of fancying anything else, because it is not. It might not be. You know, nobody fancies there. It's nobody sits there and thinks, "Oh, this could have been a vintage." This.
Yeah, no, true. And just in case as well, by the way, people think we've missed a race because we're gabbing on. We're not. They're down at the start. They're not loaded yet. We're just a wee little bit behind, but I don't see there's too many problems. Can't see anything being
I tell you who
retapped or
mysterious
reshod.
Girl couldn't be at Newbury on their debut. It's Dark 30.
Yes. So is that your pick?
That's my pick, and it's a bit of an, you know, I'm not sure it's like a proper vintage winner, but this is not a proper vintage stakes to me. And Richard Hannon hasn't won this. His dad won it 5 times.
Yeah.
But Hannon's not really run his fancied sorts in it as often. You know, a lot of them have been 25s plus. But this Dark 30, you know, second after winning that Newbury race, which is pretty good form, obviously beating Mysterious Night. He's come on 1/5 in that race, and then last time he was third, 4 lengths fourth and third in the Superlative Stakes at Newmarket.
Yeah.
But he got massively squeezed out a furlong from home there. He'd have been within a
There's
length or
something I've
two.
never seen before.
Yeah. Come on.
A horse
Stethoscope.
getting checked by a vet with a stethoscope at the start. Number
What's
4, Donna Castle.
Yeah,
Well,
Donald Castle.
because the horse is very sweaty. Are we on horse number 4? Is it Dornet Castle today,
There's
Barry?
Dornet
Yeah.
Castle, yeah.
Dornet Castle looks very sweaty under the cloth, but also just. Do you know? He just looks a little bit shaky. Do you think that's why they're checking his heart rate's okay?
Well,
Because
you're the
I haven't
boss.
seen that, Barry.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant for welfare.
I
think that's marvellous. Yeah, it's
I
great
think
to
the
see.
jockey might be No, he's staying on.
they're
Okay,
happy.
heart rate must be normal. Okay, that is fabulous to see because clearly something's happened or it's gotten hot or the vet has seen some sign that they want to check and they've taken his heart rate. I can't remember exactly what it was meant to be now.
I didn't even know where a horse's heart was till I saw that, to be brutally
Yeah.
honest with you.
Well, it's just just right in front of the girth.
Just there.
All right.
And they got because the anatomy of a horse is amazing. That's why I always say, Barry, if I was picking a horse, I like to have quite a wide chest because that has the heart, a nice deep chest for the lungs, and a massive bottom for the engine. Bingo! I'm in the wrong flipping job.
Ring the bell, Nat.
Ring the bell.
Question
In the
for you.
meantime,
Question.
Holloway boy hardening significantly into 6-4 now, so the money really come up for the Chesham winner.
This
Okay.
will probably win now.
Sorry, Keith's got a question
No, I've
for
got
me.
a resting heart rate of a thoroughbred.
Yeah, I know. I've forgotten. I'm thinking about. I know. Gosh.
No idea.
And I only just I had my horse vetted not that long ago. Oh, honestly, Keith, I've forgotten.
It's 40 beats per minute. Now, reputedly, Bjorn Borg's was lower than that. His was something ridiculous. Like, but apparently these athletes, like swimmers and stuff, have obscenely slow resting heart
Yeah.
rates. In horses, it's 40 beats a minute.
40
That
beats.
heart must be some size to get all the blood around that
They're
big
massive.
body.
That's what I mean. The anatomy is absolutely.
And some of the horses, like remember when Secretariat died, they did a post-mortem
Yes.
on Secretariat, and his heart was about twice the size of a normal
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah, you'd never get over the lung capacity. It honestly, just blow your mind. We are running behind. It's not just us, by the way. I think the
Yeah,
loading
we've not talked through the vintage stakes, talking
process.
about resting
Yeah, we
heart
haven't
rates.
talked through the vintage takes. I absolutely promise you. The loading process is about to go on. Quick look at the market. Hollow Boy, as Barry has said, is hardening all the time. Is that 2.58?
Yes,
Yeah, it's 2.58.
Mysterious Night 6.9.
6 Mysterious
Oh, 6.
Night, my dear friend, 6.8, 8-4 Dornoch Castle, and it's 12 bar.
I mean, I'm
Maraband 17.
not surprised to see a slight drift on Dornoch Castle, given the
Yeah.
unprecedented stethoscope application down the start.
Right, well, they're going in. So,
They are going in, so I better call this one better.
and you're
So-
Dark 30,
Dark 30.
Mysterious Night.
Mysterious Night.
And they're off
Barry.
in the vintage stakes. We've got
Marvellous.
one solo out the stall. Jiffy Boy was a little bit slow to go, but the rest of them, they're all away relatively steadily. Dornoch Castle is first out. He has a little look behind, sees Dear My Friend in his quarters, and Galeron is being rushed up a little bit as well. Dark 30 is also right under.
Favourite's quite keen, isn't he?
Yeah.
Favourite, yeah, he is keen and behind there. He's just on the inside of Mysterious Night, who is keeping him in there, and it's Galeron who's got to the front there ahead of Dornoch Castle. They're abreast coming into the turning round, and Dear My Friend's in third ahead of Dark 30. Then Mysterious Night behind him is Holloway Boy, who has settled a little bit better now. Dandy Man Shines is towards the rear, as is Maraband, and Jiffy Boy is a back marker as he come in. Holloway Boy is pulling really hard on the outside here. He's going to have to probably come round them all to challenge. It's just a case
Coming down
of
the middle.
when Danny Dudhope chooses to do it. it. So they've skewed that far rail turning in here. It's still Gallagher in front, and Mysterious Night is
travelling.
What's the market saying, Barry?
Dear My Friend's also travelling very well. Dark 30 is working hard up the rail.
The favourite of 5 to 2.
He's travelling really strongly. But look, Marban's travelling 2 behind.
Kick this one home.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, they're not. Are they catching Godolphin? Mysterious Night's gone for home here. Holloway Boy, the button's been pressed. Dear My Friend's going too, but here comes Marban. Don't forget Marban, he's coming. But Mysterious Night's still in front. Holloway Boy's coming to get him, but Marban's a threat now. Marban's coming to get him.
Coming over the top, he's going to get up.
Marban's got him. He's come over the top and he's won. Marban's got him. That's by half a length.
Fair Barry.
Second Holloway Boy, third Mysterious Night.
Never come.
Oh, well done, team. We hit the crossbar. Barry or...
Finally back to winner. Yes, Manel, that's been a bit of a wait. Betfair SP is 17.5. Your favourite, who seemed to travel well into the race when he hit the front, traded at a low of 1.16, which is 6 to 1 on. Mysterious Night traded at a low of 3.0, which is 2 to 1. But Marban and Jamie Spencer rode very patiently out the back. Cracked the favourite into the race really all the way and just outstayed him. He showed that toughness as well with his win last day when he beat We Could Be Heroes in Salisbury. So, yeah, nice win for Spencer.
Typical Jamie Ryder, we say it time and time again, but when it works, he is one of the only jockeys that can pull this, not this particular race exactly, but his tactics, the way he pulls it off.
It's the way he does that there, and it works very well at Ascot. And Goodwood's a pretty good track for it too.
Yeah.
I suspect the price in running there of Holloway Boy, 6 to 1 on, is informed somewhat by what happened in the first. I don't think if they'd stayed away in the first the way they did, he'd have gone as short as that, personally. I don't think he ever... Would you agree, Barry? He never looked like a 6's on shot to me.
I thought when he hit the front now, he was going to take a bit of catching. I think in running punters might have thought he'd pull away, but he's just worn down really in the shadows of the post by the winner. He's just grounded it out better, the winner. Only half a length.
You know how many winners Jamie Spencer had ridden at Glorious Goodwood in the last 10 years before that? 5 from 100.
Oh, I thought I thought it was a game, like we were guessing.
I'm glad it wasn't.
Do you know how many? Oh, there's the answer.
No, I actually highlighted in my piece that I wrote on Saturday saying if there's one jockey you want to avoid all week at Goodwood, it's Jamie Spencer.
What a start.
And then he boots home the second winner.
Lovely job.
Well, let's. It was interesting from the start here. Let's just pick the race apart a little bit more because a couple were quite keen, and there was one bit I particularly wanted to re-watch, the Johnston horse, just to get a bit tight when they came in together.
Yeah, Donna Castle, something's happened because he's been squeezed out there by Mysterious Night. I'm not sure if he is quite right. You know, maybe they were checking him over, sort of not with good reason. He's obviously run to the line. Yeah. But you know, maybe he wasn't quite on his game. Okay. And what's happened there? You know, they've all come over the top. You see nothing that stayed on the inside. Really, Galeron's dropped away. Dark 30's dropped right away.
Dear My Friend,
Jiffy Boy was never in it. Marban was the one that's finished really strongly over the top. Nothing else. There's one here that's come through and made a little bit of ground. Dandy Man Shines has made a little bit of ground late in the day. But really, I expect what you'll see off the back of this potentially. Frankie wasn't right up the rail either, really, was he? He stayed a few horse width off the rail. I think you'll see them shun the rail all the way through this one.
Well, we saw it in the first race, didn't we? We said it in the first race. It looks like the centre is where you want to be.
They do. It's what happens in the sprints later on, Barry. Will they go to the near rail? Because all the sprints they're starting on the near rail in the sprints. Will they go on? Will they stick to that near rail, or will they still think centre's the place to be? That's interesting because that's the races I've had my most bets in today. So I'm really interested.
A lot of those jockeys have herd mentality, don't they, Keith?
They do.
Wherever everyone else goes.
They absolutely do, Barry.
I like that herd mentality. That I really like that. That's good. So what we're talking about pre-race of Vintage Stakes is basically it really used to be a chance to spot a future middle distance star. What you were saying, Keith, is speedier types, speedier stallions.
It's not. Yeah, Marbanya winner. There's by Oasis Dream.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I'll look into his dam just now.
Yeah, please do, because all this is really fascinating points. This is the points this is what we want to give to our viewers. The
dam stayed a mile and a half, to be fair.
Right. Okay.
So that's that one.
And what would you take from this race? I mean, look, the top two finishes there. It was a pleasing performance. We've already alluded to the fact it's not the best Vintage Stakes, but they both ran pretty well and strongly. And I would still be encouraged, wouldn't you, G-Rod, by Mysterious Night. You've got Mysterious Girl in my head, you have.
Mysterious
I knew
boy,
you'd do that.
What was it? He took the top off, didn't he? He does a sort of dancing like...
Oh, God, we need to get a funny clip.
I want to see the clouds overhead in Goodwood. They look ominous, don't they?
Didn't we say they're really bluey, black, heavy, like Barry, like if it's going to rain, it's going to monsoon.
If it rains, it'll lash.
Yeah.
Absolute downpour it looks.
It's looked like that all the way down today.
It'll be all right.
On my very slow trip down.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It's a funny place, Goodwood, isn't it? It's right up in the hills.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
It's very high, isn't it?
Yeah,
you did the
very
elevation graph last week
Yeah.
and had to get me to sort it out. It was how high it was that caught me straight off the bat. Marban is Dam Zahu, is a half-sister to Matterhorn and Bangkok.
Right.
Who will
Really?
all go. So it's a middle distance pedigree on the Dam side, with Oasis Dream being the sire. Now, plenty of Oasis Dreams crossed with middle distance types. They ended up middle distance.
Okay.
This horse will end up running in the Royal Lodge, won't it? That we expect. He's going to be the sort of horse that will cut it.
Well, that was my next question. Yeah, what can we? That's why it's fun, isn't it? Which means
25 to 1 for the Guineas, for next year's Guineas.
Thank you, Barry.
that
25
was-
He'll
to
stay a
1.
mile, no doubt, Keith, won't
Oh no, you'll stay a mile this year, Barry. So
I think poor Dave Lowe was
problem.
trying to tell me that before, but I missed what he said.
No, he said
he? Race
it.
in Newmarket, the mile 2 race.
What the what's that called again?
2-year-old race in Newmarket.
Is that the Tattersalls?
No.
What's it called again?
Let's have a-
Kyprios ran in it a couple of years ago. 2 to 1. He was really, really disappointed in it. I think it's a mile 2 race.
Zetland's what it's called.
Zetland's
The
Zetland's.
Zetland, that's
Yeah,
it.
because same day,
Well done,
same
Gio.
day as the Autumn
Well
Stakes now,
done,
isn't it? Which is a
G.
bit strange. But I think he'll run in one of these mile back end 2-year-old races. He'll end up, if he ends up really good, he'll run in the old Racing Post Trophy. If he doesn't, he'll run in like the Royal Lodge and the Autumn
Slowed by
Stakes.
2.56 seconds the time, that one. So
It's not slow ground.
no,
It's not slow ground.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that ground at all. I think there's an awful lot of
Perfectly good,
Slow
isn't
by
it?
2.56 seconds.
Over 7 furlongs.
Yeah, the first.
So they mightn't run Crucian now, will they not? Too good.
I'll be fine.
They'll run Trushan now.
Yeah.
The ground is just good. It's just
There's no,
properly
this
good,
is
isn't it?
if your horse has got a problem with this ground, then there's a serious problem, because this is perfect ground.
Because
Yeah.
what the reason you're maybe seeing the kicking up like they have is they've probably had to water, not aggressively, but water significantly to get just that proper good ground. They
Yeah.
might pay for it later in the week.
If
there's
it
a
rains.
bit, if there's a bit more rain, they'll pay for it later.
Yeah.
I think the ground
Big time.
today, perfectly fine. If it rains, they might pay for it later in the week.
They,
Don't think
they
it's gonna
probably
rain.
will, but that's one of these.
It's not going to rain
The
now.
joy of. Okay.
It's going to be lovely, sunny weather.
It's going to be glorious.
It's going to be glorious Goodwood, and it's going to be sunny all week. And come Friday, Saturday, it'll be genuine quick round. And all those people that have paid their money to get their horses quick round will be
Yeah.
dancing a jig.
Yeah, no, it's been a funny couple of weeks actually weather-wise, and even when we do get some, it doesn't seep. It's very difficult to seep into the ground so easily. Do you know what I mean? Like there's quite a lot that goes into.
You know
ground
what always
management.
fascinated me? I mean, I saw John Gosling out there with his stick. You know,
Yeah.
He had his stick.
Yeah, he loves his
You know,
stick.
like, how do you know how, and they say the stick goes in that far and all that, you know, how do you know, like, you're pushing it in consistently with the same amount of force every single time?
It's proper act like you belong,
there-
behavior, isn't it? It's proper
Yeah.
like if you do it with enough authority, people will think you're right.
People think
So
that
I
you know what
asked
you're doing.
Eloise Quayle,
Yes.
gosh, she's a good girl. So she was
Is she
Clarky
a stick?
Topster, and now yeah, but she's got this really cool thing for the tapeter. It's like looks like that, you know, 'cause that's a really good description, like that. And then it's like a metal thing. It's got a really, really specific name. And I was interviewing her when I was on ITV, and I remember her telling me about it. It was amazing. It was just to make sure that it's all really even. And then obviously on the turf, they just, I think that's why they spend like 55 years practicing to become a clerk of the course, and then you're like 80 by the time it happens, and you just kind of know the stick.
You know how hard to push the stick in.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like a-
experience,
Is it-
Gene Rogers.
is it genuinely
It's
20
all,
years
it's all about experience.
Okay.
It must be brilliant snooker players if that's how, you know, just getting that exactly that right force, just judge it to perfection. Safety game must be
dear.
absolutely off
Barry,
the
are you
charts.
good with a stick?
Yes,
Yes.
I am. Yeah.
Yes.
Depends what hand I'm using. Not so good with the left, better with the right.
Oh dear.
Oh no, it's too early. I'm my debut of hosting. Don't let me lose the plot this early, because I'll never be invited back, and I've still got 2 more days to get through until Dave Orton firmly takes his place back in this throne.
Oh, he's not
He's
coming
got-
back, is he?
He's
He
coming,
might have no
He's
show
not
to
coming
come
back.
back to.
what's he going to, he's going to be insufferable on Friday, isn't he? His first day back.
Yeah, of course he is.
It'll
but-
be like Here's Johnny or something. You'll smash up that. Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised if he picked me off the chair, threw me off the chair. Thanks, Nat. He did me a favour by stepping in because I'll appreciate him so much more. We haven't talked about our trophy yet, so someone will win this trophy today. At the moment, it's Barry Orr. What's it for? It's for the most winning tips. It's for the best bets.
That's why I don't know what it is.
We need a wooden spoon, don't we?
Well, I suggested cream.
God, there'd be a fight over who gets it.
It'd be a popular wooden spoon, wouldn't it?
You need more than one, G.
We can have a coconut. Don't be shy. Do you get it?
I did, that's why I sucked my breath in there.
Do you know who told me that joke before we went on air? Ross Briley, because I could never
God.
possibly
Ross,
think of that on my
I
own.
expected better than Ross.
I'm sorry, yeah. We've got Ross with us tomorrow in the studio. Right, our next race that we are looking ahead to is quite exciting, isn't it? This 3 o'clock, the Lennox Stakes, another group race to get our teeth stuck into and try and give you some winning bets. But we want to hear from you. It's a live and interactive show. And what we really like is our socials want to hear your tips, want to hear your picks. You can talk to us about the rest of the week, because we always say there's loads to look forward to. It might be the Stewards' Cup on Saturday, it's your favourite. It might be Baid on the Wednesday. It might be the Fillies and Mares on the Thursday. It might be Friday, which is like, there's loads of action going on Friday, isn't there?
Yeah, I was surprised to see it's a Golden Mile and the King George.
That looks a head scratcher.
The Golden Mile used to be the Thursday, didn't it?
No, I think it's always been on a Friday, hasn't it? The Golden Mile.
I thought it used to be the third, and then they changed the Nassau.
They changed the Nassau. The reason that I think the Golden Mile's always been on Friday, because that's when they remove the cutaway and then it goes to the inside, and then you get a lot of carnage when there's no cutaway. The first 3 days, they got a cutaway 2 furlongs today and tomorrow. Then they got a 3.5 furlong cutaway on the Thursday. But then Friday and Saturday goes to that innermost sort of configuration, and there's nowhere for any of those horses in behind to go, and that's when you end up with the real bumper cars. But luckily for the first 3 days, we've got that little cutaway to where they should all get a run.
Why did they take it away for the Golden Mile?
They don't. It's just the last 2 days, isn't it?
Oh, we do have a social. This is exciting. Alan Watham. Please say I said that right. Watham? I do try. Or Watham.
There's an L in there. Waltham.
Waltham. It's one of those. Waltham. Anyway, lovely to hear from you, Alan. Sacred and Kyprios to make my day. Fingers well and truly crossed. We have them crossed for you too, because we can actually spend a moment, can't we, to talk about Sacred.
We can. She is
2 from 2 over 7 furlongs. We know that.
She's good horse at 7, isn't she? And last time
what were the 2 races she won? Was it? Well, the Nell Gwyn was one.
The Hungerford, was it?
Oh, it was the Hungerford,
so.
Right?
Yeah.
And let's bring it up.
And
obviously she's only run once this year. It was over 6.
Yeah.
Didn't look quite quick enough for 6 in the
form's all right, isn't it? When you consider that Naval Crown, Artorius and Creative Force beat her, and they finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the July Cup behind Alcohol Free, who could beat Baid late tomorrow.
Yeah, no, look, it is good form, isn't it? That Platinum Jubilee, that Group 1 there. I mean, ran a great race, raced in the centre there. William Haggis, as we know. Oh my goodness, William Haggis. It's just, is this statistically, is this like his best fat season to date so far? Because every single time I seem to interview Maureen, they are winning. Is this to date?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know actually.
How do we find that out?
It's just always like that, isn't it? It's just.
He's got an amazing strike rate.
I'll double check, but
I feel like this
just
is
feels like he's
more.
always winning all the races. I'll have a check while you're there.
I feel like this is just even more. Like even some of the horses that they weren't totally sure, like Newbury was there, you know, and a couple of horses had, you know, been too keen and done this and then still gotten there to the line. It's been quite a tremendous.
Yeah, so he had a big leap forward last year. Last year was a career best in terms of winners in Britain and Ireland, or Britain for by about 15, and he's sort of on course to beat that again.
Okay.
As long as he keeps a lot going into the winter, he'll be on 100 winners soon. 96 according to the Racing Post site at the moment. You'd imagine he'll get his 100 up this week, and then it'll be a case of seeing how far he can go. Obviously, we're just past halfway in the year, and then it'll be a case of seeing how he gets on. But yeah, he's not even had as many runners this year as he's not on course to have as many runners as he had last year, and his strike rate is higher, 28% this year.
It's all right, isn't it? Trushan runs.
Oh, thank you. We have
Trushan
news.
runs.
Trushan does run. That is excellent news. Now we have all got the match that we've been waiting for.
What a race we have got now.
And I get your point. This is what the public want. This is what
Just makes a better price for Kyprios, thankfully.
There's no way.
Boom.
Do you really think Kyprios can beat Trushan here, Barry? Do you really think that?
I really do, G-Rod, and I'll be betting on it.
You must
Come
be,
on,
You
that's-
must be mad.
This
Must be
is
mad.
this is what we want in the studio. This is all to come. This is exciting stuff. But for now, we're 5 minutes away from our 7 furlong Group 2. We do have another social to go to. Hopefully my eyes won't let me down. M1 MI. Fancy a big run from Sandrine today. Really think she'll relish this drop in trip. Yeah, I am inclined to think that. I mean, they've always thought an awful lot of Sandrine, but I don't think she's quite good enough to take on opposition.
I think she maybe keeps looking like she's good enough to do that. I've got a friend who's very much got Sandrine as his cliff horse.
Okay.
And I can sort of see it. There is form going back that suggests she's got that in her. But never quite done it yet.
So all
Keeps
the
getting a little bit unlucky. And are you going to get luckier at Goodwood?
Yeah,
not
that's
to
a
be the
good
way.
point. Everything's got to
usually,
fall
yeah.
perfect into place for her to see that happening. Maybe it's not impossible, is it? Nothing's
No.
impossible.
I did notice on the selections when you sent them over that you have gone for Ever Given
Only each way.
each way. Now, I know that obviously this is a Hugo Palmer horse, isn't it? And I know that you obviously do a little bit of massaging for Hugo, don't you, in your spare time every now and again. So I wondered if you knew something that we didn't about Ever Given.
I got asked to go back actually just a couple of weeks ago. It's basically my friends like the chiropractor, which is a qualified vet, so you can only do all the really cool clicky pulley necky stuff if you're a qualified vet. You can't just go and, yeah. So she treats all the horses and I hold them, and then I go around with an equissage, which is like a it's like I don't know, the size of like an aubergine, maybe bigger.
Of all the things to pick out, an
and it
aubergine.
vibrates, and you put it on the pressure points of the horse. There's 7 points on either side of the horse, and that's what I do. But I was just trying to think of a description. So yeah, big aubergine, and I was thinking of the emojis. You see, that's what was in my head. Anyway, Ever Given. Yeah, I just think at the price, he's got to be a really good each way chance. Look, he is a nice horse. Epsom, I just don't think went right, held up in the back. And I think that certainly wasn't the tactics that they wanted. Hugo is making good strides at Manor House. They do seem to have quite a good thing going on. Michael is massively involved again. Like, his passion is, stronger than ever. Got a good team. They're being very thorough. They have, like, Newmarket vets coming like twice a week there. It's unbelievable.
Rejuvenated that yard, having a new name above the door, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Hugo Palmer's done a lot better than Dascombe had been doing in recent years. It's a noticeable uptick in the yard's fortunes this year.
Yeah, it is, and it is a big change, and it is a big shift, and
Yeah.
and I just think Ever Given, and look, third behind Summer Major and Pogo. I quite like Pogo actually as well. I mean, I think this is quite an interesting race. So yeah, I'm each way in Ever Given. G-Rod, your pick is.
Sorry.
Oh no!
Sorry,
I'm not looking if it's about the aubergine. I'm not going there because I'm ejected out this seat quicker.
My pick is Lane Cash. Yeah, I think that Lane Cash could run well. Yeah, he was beaten by Pogo, wasn't he, a couple of starts ago? But he should have beaten him at Haydock. He absolutely flashed home. I thought he was a little bit unlucky not to get there. Pogo thrashed him next time out when he was favourite to reverse the places at Newmarket, and then. You do not see many horses win like Lancash won last time out at Chester. He was out the back, he didn't get a great start and turned for home. How many horses do you see at Chester come from complete last off that home turn and win?
Well, you don't really.
You just don't. It doesn't happen. And Lancash was wearing first-time cheek pieces there, and he absolutely took off down the wide outside. And Jim Crowley was actually almost pulling him up as they went past the line. He won it so cosily. I just thought this has always been a horse with loads and loads of ability, Lancash, but they've never really been able to get out of him. And I just wonder if now they've put the cheek pieces on him, this might be what does a trick for Lancash. And he's much bigger price than the favourite, isn't he? Who's the favourite?
Yeah,
8 to 1, 9 to 1.
He's like 10 times the price.
We should just have we got another show still coming in? Save 991. Inzaghi, got a wow idea. Could you get a wooden horse in the studio for Natalie to demonstrate with? I said I probably would get fired or not be asked to come back. I thought you could ask me to demonstrate the whip, the pro crush. I could do that for you as well. Barry, what is the market saying before we get any more very silly innuendos?
Yes, 5-2 the field. Sacred is 3.5, 5.7 Kinross. That's been really strong. Lusail is 6, Pogo 8, 12 bar. Lancash is 12. Sandrine, the 3-year-old filly, getting all the allowances. There was money for her earlier on in the week. Seems to have dried up. She's 14 to 1 now, 15.0 on the win only. Betfair Exchange. I'm going to back Sacred here. I just think her form is unquestionable. Very few miles in the clock. When you go back to the Nell Gwyn, when she beat subsequent Grade 1 winner Saffron Beach over 7 furlongs, she didn't stay behind Mother Earth in the Guineas. Then she went to the Hungerford, beat Lancash a length. I think she'll confirm that form. And her 5th on her seasonal debut in the Platinum Jubilee was a really good run. I backed her that day. The form has stood up since in the July Cup. 6 furlongs was just too sharp for her. She crying out for another furlong. The 7 furlongs here is her Goldilocks trip. What we're going to do, please, Keith, we're going to lengthen our odds on the Betfair Sportsbook. So if you go pick over to the Sportsbook, on top there, lengthen your odds. It's a very popular new in the Betfair Sportsbook. Sacred to win by a length or more. It's all you can have up to a length or more or 2 lengths, all sorts of different distances there. But 7-2 a length or more, we're going to have 25 quid win, and Sacred to win by a length or more at 7-2. Now I've also backed Pogo in our lucky 15 though. I think that I was really impressed with that in the Criterium in Newmarket. He's such a game horse. He's a horse I've really warmed to in his last couple of runs, and he mightn't get things his own way up front. That's the only thing, because he's going to get taken on for the lead by Lord of the Lodge, the rag of the field, who's 350. But I don't think he'd mind taking the lead off Lord of the Lodge. And so Pogo with Kieran Schumacher for the lucky 15, which we've had a 14-1 winner in already.
Yeah, no, I like Pogo. I think, well, it's a really likeable racehorse, like you said. It's temperament, attitude. I can totally see the appetite for Pogo. Barry, it's interesting. You've already sort of said it, but it's probably one of my favourite sort of things you have with Betfair at the moment, the length in your odds, isn't it? Because it can just then, like you've just demonstrated, if you've got a slightly shorter price, you can make it into a more valuable bet by trying to sort of be ahead of the game.
If you get the right horse for that, it's great.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, you've got to, it's not going to be,
Oh, you can't go willy-nilly, Keith.
No, exactly. The sort of horse that gets presented late, even a horse like Bide, for instance, he's not a horse that wins by long ways, really. He's never going to get that 140-ish figure even if he had it in him, because he settles very nicely and he quickens and he lengthens and he wins by about 3, and that's your lot, really. When to get the sort of price about Bide, you'd want him to be winning by 5, 6, really stamping his authority. He's not the sort of horse that does that. Whereas, we've got to look at finding the right horse for these length in your odds bets.
Yeah, it's a very good point, actually. But that's what I think me and you, I think it was us, that's what I adore about Bide, because, and I also adore that he doesn't get the kitchen sink thrown at him, because he doesn't need to, because if he's winning, he only needs to win by enough, because obviously you want longevity. You don't need to push to the extremities all the time, because that's sort of the welfare point in trying to look after these horses. Barry's already said it before, and they were actually monitoring the heart of one of the Johnston horses. We can see welfare at the forefront, and that's what we want to see. And it's quite lovely, actually. As I said that, you'd never believe that just in pictures, Sacred was getting a really lovely pat down the neck, just saying, which is nice. They are emotional creatures, these horses. It's quite nice. I do quite like to see that when the jockeys have that affinity with them and just saying, come on, it's all right, So they are walking around the parade ring, and Gievold's right, actually. The rain does seem to stay away at the moment. Maybe these sort of really dark clouds are maybe just going to be scattered and passed by. It's
an amazing place. It really has got its own little microclimate, a bit like Cheltenham, Goodwood. Obviously the most beautiful place in the world to be on a sunny day, and the most rotten place to be in the world when it rains.
That Cleve Hill. Well, we'll Stevie C says, come on, Lana Cash, loving the show. We're pleased you're loving the show. I feel like maybe because we have got 5 minutes to go, we should probably just talk about a few more in this, because it is an interesting race. Barry said about Sacred, I totally agree. Barry's also mentioned Pogo, which I quite like. I've mentioned Ever Given. Kinross, Barry, was fair to say, has been pretty well backed. I mean, it's not a huge market mover, but it's been well backed in relative terms. I think that was even in the Racing Post today, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tom Siegel.
Yeah, he's almost half. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. He's almost
half in price. Yeah, I suppose he like with the watering, he seems to prefer that ground than anything else. He's a previous winner of the race. 5.6. He was matched with a high of 9.6, though. Almost half in price.
Okay.
It's a better race than the one he won last year, I thought. I mean, I can see the reason the money's coming because of the because he won the race last year. But
not sure. It cut up quite badly last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because they had that where it was a bit overwatered, wasn't it? And then it rained and it turned into like heavy.
Well, it was rattling
Was it
quick at
heavy on
Ascot
top
on
of
King
it?
George Day, and then heavy and Goodwood, basically off.
Right.
Yeah.
On day one here, but you know he's got Sacred in there. He's got Lucille, who we've not talked much about. Who, you know, he might have won the St James's Palace had he been a bit luckier. You know, on a very good race in the Jean Prat as well.
Yeah,
you know, he's a really good horse. We've got
I love
Lennox,
Lucille
we've
in
got
this.
Pogo. Lucille was just about my selection in the race.
Yeah.
I've gone with Lannicash. I don't need to go into any great detail because the case is very similar to Graham's. But yeah, Lucille was very high on the shortlist for me. You know, it's just a better race. I mean, Sandrine as well. She's a horse that may yet deliver that borderline Group 1 performance she's long been thought capable of. Just a better race than the one Kinross won. Which is why I'm a bit surprised he's the price he is.
Yeah, I just think Lucille, it's not like a sob story, a hard story. I think Lucille, for me, it just deserves a big victory.
Yeah,
It's
this probably is the sort of race that this sort of horse wins, is
Yes,
it not? Like the
yes.
sort of he keeps getting beaten Group 1s and then they drop back to Group 2 and he picks it up. But of course we don't have a Group 1 7 furlong race, do we, in Britain? So
Just talking about that the other day, actually.
I wonder if this will ever become one.
That's exactly what we were talking about, actually, just yesterday. Yeah, I wonder.
Of all the 7 furlong races in Britain that could become Group 1s, you would say this one would be fairly high up
Well,
on
I
the
totally
list.
agree, because I personally would be against having it any earlier in the year, because I've got my own ideas about young horses. That is just personal preference, just to push.
Is there one at Doncaster as well,
Park
called the
Stakes,
Park
yeah.
Stakes?
But
That's
you've got
again later in the year.
You've got
so.
this, Hungerford.
Then they're 3, so they're not. They're pretty strong by 3. So yeah, no, this probably would be quite a good time of the year, wouldn't it, to be this one?
Yeah, there's so many of the good Group 2 races and Group 7 furlong races in this country are all bunched together. You've got this, and then you've got the Hungerford in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Then you've got the York Stakes at York. York have put a lot of money into that race. They're determined to make it the Group 1 out of the lot, and they will probably get what they want because it's already just about. There's only a fag paper in it really between this race and York Stakes for which performs the best on the parting committee measures. And yeah, Park Stakes, and then obviously they go on to the 4A after that. My slightly controversial suggestion on this one was to lop a furlong off the Lockinge. And I mean, I think it could be. I think there could be something in it, you know. But you know, one of those races, those races need spacing out. We need a 7 furlong programme. We don't
I'll
have
be
one.
surprised
Really.
if some people agree with you, Keith, though, to be honest, because you know, there needs. Sometimes there does need to be changes in how you do it, and you know you need to think about it.
You could invent. There's nothing for 7 furlong horses before like the John of Gaunt at the end of May. So why not give them something early doors? The milers that are, because the Lockinge is just a warm up for the Queen Anne anyway for the proper horses. They won't mind running them in a 7 furlong race to get them ready for the Queen Anne. I thought there was something in it.
Interesting. You heard it here first of our own Melrose. There you go, you never know. Right, let's just do a little recap on our market. Sacred at 3.7, Kinross at 5.2, Lucille, who, yeah, I think has got a cracking chance. And I just think very deservedly, it would be nice to see Lucille get a big win at 6. Pogo, 7.5 or 7.6, so I'm going blind. 6. And then
13
Lannicash,
bar, just say
13 bar. Oh, say 13 for me again, Barry.
13.
Oh, I like it. Can't beat an Irish accent. You really, really can't. So they are down at the start. What I haven't done very much of today is what catches the eye, because it is always gorgeous to see the horses in the flesh. The only thing I would say, I'm just being truly, truly honest, at this time of the year, they've got their summer coats. They're looking well. It's
at this
more
time
fun
of the year,
earlier on in the year.
You're a bit like me looking at horses, because to me, whenever I look at them, they all look the same to me. You know.
But this time of year, I want to see them very stripped.
Unless they're
very,
greys,
very
of course. If they're greys, then I can sell the difference. And a lot of those greys, they jump really well.
That's true. No, the loading is underway. But no, I'm just saying this time of year, they should be looking very, very well in their coats.
What do you make of the white bridle?
I can't bear them.
Can't bear them.
Absolutely can't bear them.
It draws the eye. Even somebody like me who's not really horsey, they just draw the eye a bit more than they should.
Yeah, I'm very traditional.
Pogo's got the white bridle on.
Gubba's last to go in, horse number 9. They are all
Poor
loaded.
Gubba's, he's lost a couple of things since we learned
have
that.
done well.
There we go.
And Keith Melrose is our commentator.
So they're all off. It's a fairly level break, actually. No, Gubba's was very
Sacred.
slowly away. His first run without his Crown Jewels, and he's very slow. It was Gubba's. So they're off, and it's Pogo as we expect.
Was left, was she?
Oh, no, it was Gubba's for the third time.
Gubba's.
They're off, and his Happy Power goes to the front along with Pogo. And up on the outside here, Lord of the Lodge is also going up. So it's as we expected, really. Ever Given just in behind, quite keen actually, and Sandrine is in there with them. Then there's a little gap back to Lucille, and dual winner of this race, Sir Dancelot. After that, on the outside, you've got Lana Cash. That horse is definitely going to come for a late run. On the inside, you have no, that's not Lucille, that's Kinross. Sacred is second last, besides Gubba's, who was badly. And Sacred doesn't travel either. Sacred is not travelling in the straight.
It's into sub 2 to 1.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be travelling in a sub 2 to 1, Sacred.
It's so strange because she is
Tom
not travelling at all.
Walcomb's getting a little
Sandrine
bit
travels though.
animated.
Sandrine is tanking on the outside. Lana Cash is under pressure. Lucille is under pressure quite a way back. Kinross is up the rail. Doesn't look to have many places to go. Kinross
on,
dives
this is the Lennox.
for the far rail to try and get a run.
Over the shop.
Come on,
Pogo
let's have a look at Pogo.
He's not stopping particularly. Happy
Go,
Power is
Sacred.
coming at him. Sandrine's going to win this, lads. Sandrine is finishing very strongly. Sacred has done well to get involved from there. She's not going to get there. Sandrine is
has
at the
done
front.
well.
Happy Power is not stopping, but Sandrine is at the front. Is she
it's
doing
tight.
much? Kinross trying to get her on the rail.
Sandrine's
Sacred
running
coming
a
out, but it's going to be
blinder.
Sandrine, isn't it? She's going to hold on all the way to the line. Kinross coming, but not in time. Sandrine has won the Lennox Stakes. She has had that performance. She has got her reward at long last. She was probably the one that she travelled best, had the easiest run or clearest run through, and she gets her big win. Kinross, I'll watch it again to see how much he was held up, because he took the brave man's route down that far rail, did Frankie, and nearly got his rewards. I think Frankie thought he was going to get an easier time up that far rail. He's made the call, hasn't he? There's nothing wrong with that far rail, lads. He's dived for it. And I don't know if he's got squeezed or not, but we'll have to have a look. Sandrine is 12 to 1.
Yeah, you've got your winner, Sandrine, and that's what I mean. We need more props in the studio, because I'm happily just put a little bit of egg on my face before. Really well done to our social on Sandrine. I said, God, is she just quite good enough? Yes, she is. Yes, she was. Really tenacious there under a very active and a good ride from David Probert, who was like, I'm winning this, guys. I'm going for it. That was a really pleasing performance. Sacred did well to actually get anywhere near the front, Barry, she just didn't, what do you think? She just didn't look happy? She lost her rhythm a bit?
She never seemed to travel, and when we said she wasn't travelling, she came into sub 2 to 1. She was 2.98 at that stage. Kinross hit a low of 1.33, which is 3 to 1 on. And then we had Happy Power, who's ran a cracker.
Yeah.
He traded at a low of 4.3. Pogo, who I think he's finished third. Pogo, he's a real honest type of horse. 4.6 was the lowest he went in running. But the winner, the 3-year-old filly, getting all the allowances, and nice winner to get on the board for connections.
Yeah.
Andrew Balding, yard off the mark.
We're watching replay here, and Sir Dancelot is quite keen early on. Lucille doesn't get the easiest time of it out wide. Kinross, Frankie knew coming out the stalls what he was going to do, I reckon. He has really waited for that cutaway and has dived down it. Sacred isn't travelling here. I'd be interested to see why she was 2 to 1 at this point.
But you're right.
Schumacher could have closed the door on him there, and Frankie being some bother.
Let's have a look there, because Schumacher is on pole. Yeah, I think that's possible what's happened. He struggled to get up the inside. It's just, I want to see your head onto this one, Barry, because he might have done. He's had to dive up Ever Given's inside there. And
he's gone up Ever Given's inside. Schumacher had his whip in his right hand, so he was keeping his horse off that rail.
He is. He doesn't. He's
gone up it.
He doesn't want the rail.
Yeah, look now in the replay, you can see. Oh yeah.
Here on Schumacher, like he caught, like, you know, you could have had a repeat of what happened in the Yorkshire Oaks there, but he did all he could to keep his horse straight and allowing Frankie up his inside. Well, not allowing him up his inside, but, you know, didn't let his horse roll over onto the rail, which some jockeys may have felt they would be perfectly right to allow.
That's a good point.
A weird race, wasn't it?
To watch that angle was weird to watch that.
They've all come past the line together. There's about 2 horse lengths between the whole first 6.
Yeah.
Ever Given ran a cracker for you. Didn't he?
Kept on better than I thought he would. I thought he was going to drop away in the last furlong. We're watching the head-on now. There's room for Frankie. I don't think we can say Kinross is that hard done by here. Maybe given the margins involved, but there was no great injustice there.
You've got to see the head-on, haven't you, in that situation? And there was plenty of chance, plenty of opportunity, and there's plenty of room.
There was always a good horse width to get down there, so I don't think there was any.
What's happened to Sacred today? She just never.
She doesn't get a run there either. As Lord of the Lodge weekends past her, she doesn't just a switch outside. It's just.
When she came out the stall, she was quite free. She just looked a bit, you know.
She's not run at Goodwood before, has she? Maybe she just. Wasn't a massive fan of. You know, that it was a downhill run into the straight, and then they flattened out, and it was as they flattened out that she got rolling.
And then Tom was like, come on, he couldn't really. And then, to be fair, she picked up again, but it wasn't the performance that the market suggested, that we probably suggested. And overall, probably a bit, disappointing, but nice for Sandrine to have a day, and a very happy David Probert there.
He's having a good year, isn't he, David Probert?
Yeah, when he won the all-weather finals, I interviewed him. He's such a nice lad, and he was like, he just said, I just really hope I can carry on onto the turf. I mean, he's done that all right.
He's doing all right. Yeah, he's having a great year, David Probert. But I wouldn't be overly enamoured with that form. I thought that they've all finished on top of each other.
Hey,
those horses look like they are.
Do you know what? That's what this show is for, to have your opinions.
Yeah, those horses look like they're all much of a muchness.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine that. I mean, today Sandrine's won because she travelled best. She got the clearest run.
Yeah.
Another day, another horse will travel better, get a clearer run, and it'll win.
So what we're saying is we can't take too much.
I don't think it's the best bit of form you'll ever see in your life. It's not going to augment the case for the Lennox becoming a Group 1.
No,
I would say.
It's not. Great shout by MI though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Sandrine. Yeah, so
brilliant.
Well done to MI.
Yeah, well done at MI. And Barry with just in running, I suppose. Like I say, they were tightly finished. It was probably they probably knew pretty early on that it wasn't going to be Sacred's day, I guess.
Yeah, soon after she traded the sub 2.98, she never looked like getting into it, and obviously the runner-up traded at 3s on. Kinross traded at 3s on.
Okay.
That was the lowest anything went really in running.
That was the lowest. Okay, interesting stuff. It's always good to hear what the in-running market does. I find it absolutely fascinating. I think I'm too lively and passionate to be
You don't think you
cool
could be
enough.
an in-running punter now?
No, I mean, I'd hit all the wrong buttons. I couldn't see the numbers, probably. I'm blind. I'd get very excited. No one would be in the same room as me because it'd be quite obvious if I was winning or not. So, no, I don't think I particularly would be very good. But I am fascinated by it. And for someone that didn't know an awful lot about the Betfair Exchange and Sportsbook, this is great for me because I can learn a lot. And talking about promotions, because I'm obviously in that mood and on that roll, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Members Club offer, if I can get my words out today. Make the most of an almighty Goodwood festival with a subscription to Racing Post Members Club. If you're not already a member, why not, you crazy people? Because you literally get 50% off for your first 3 months by clicking the link in the video description. Unlimited access to Racing Post digital newspaper, available from 9 p.m. Now, that is the evening before. I don't know about you, but it just gives you such a great head start. Honestly, at 9:05 every single day, I'm there on it reading the paper religiously. Loads of features. You've got daily articles from our top tipsters. You can hear plenty from Melrose and G-Rod as well, because you do write lots of very good very good articles. And most importantly, for someone like me, I don't know if other people feel the same, but unlimited replays.
Yes.
UK and Irish racing. It's fantastic.
You can get them all on the post. I mean, there are other places you can get replays, but you can get them all on the post site.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing.
And all in one place, and it's just so easy. But I'm probably already talking to a converted audience, because why wouldn't you subscribe at 50% off your first 3 months?
It's still running that promotion.
Yeah.
That's a proper promotion, that, because now, of course, it takes you right through to the end of the flat season.
Yes, and the competitions, which I forgot to mention, but if you enter, if you subscribe now before the end of July, you can get the entry to the subscribers competition. But this one's really cool because it's including a chance to win 2 tickets to the 4-day Ebor. Ebor, are you looking forward to the Ebor?
Yes.
I won't be in the country, but I usually do. It's a great
Where will you
meeting.
be?
I'll be in France.
Holidaying or?
Yeah. But yeah, the Ebor's a great meeting. I've not been as a punter for quite a while, but it's a smashing meeting.
Barry, do you come over for the Ebor?
Yeah, I might. I haven't made my mind up yet. I'm away the week before. I might go for a day or two, or work from home, and I haven't made up my mind yet.
It's very beautiful. I think it's very well run, York.
Yeah, great course, isn't it?
Great train station to get to.
Yeah.
Geographically, it's good. It's a great
in
course.
the town, isn't it? Like you can go to York to the races, and you can actually quite easily go out for a drink in York city centre afterwards, can't you? It's not very far at all.
Yeah, it's great. You can walk
great.
off from the track, which is really helpful.
Well, it makes experience, doesn't it, Barry? Because like we were saying just before we went on air, this was absolutely nothing. We weren't being negative about Glorious Goodwood. We were saying how glorious Goodwood is, but if we talk about geographically, it's relatively remote.
Yeah.
But somewhere like York, Chester's obviously very, very popular, where you can, because actually, I think one thing that we have to be honest about is small field sizes. We've covered that. We know that, and also attendances. Look, I'm not stupid. I obviously work on race courses. I was at Utoxeter, we're trying to plug this lady to, and there was hardly anyone there, and we had live band on Martin Kemp, whatever his name is. I'm going to end up getting the wrong person, and it's just a bit hard work at the moment. So I think racing as a whole, you want to make it into a great experience. So you want to go, you want to be able to get there. Poor Keith is known from the trains today. Sometimes it's just a bit of a struggle.
Well, yeah, I mean, most tracks aren't that close to railway stations, are they? It's not really done a thing. Although I can name quite a few that are. You can.
Catterick?
Most
Close?
of the northern ones are.
Darlington?
Where's Catterick close to?
Darlington?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's quite a way away from anything really, but there's tracks like Utoxeter's right by one. That's usually quite a good one to get to.
Yeah, Newbury Racecourse.
So
I think our wonderful team are trying to tell me all the names, and I'm going, what? I can't hear you.
The great thing about York, and it's the same at Chester, is like the whole city and will be buzzing that week. Like when you're in Chester, the whole city is
the
buzzing.
Experience.
When you're in York, the whole city is buzzing about the racing, and it's busy on the course. It's busy in town afterwards. It's just a great week, and this, of course, is one of the great weeks. Not only it's the same in Galway, isn't it? Not that I've ever been to Galway, but I know a lot of people that have been, and they say how much of a great day night out Galway is, because you can go out in Galway city afterwards.
Well, Barry will know better than us, but that is one thing. Again, reading in the paper, Barry, about the crack is back at Galway. I bet it's buzzing, isn't it? Like, if you're speaking to your mates that are there, or it must be brilliant atmosphere.
Yeah, Galway's great. It's fantastic. It's as famous for its nightlife as it is for its racing. There's so much to do, and they've different times races each day as well. So the kind of twilight meetings, everyone's back in the city for 8:30, 9 o'clock. You have something to eat, and the bars stay open late, and everyone in Galway that week is there for the horse racing stuff. No shortage of crack, that's for sure. With Galway, it's not the racing you need to get the trip. It's the nightlife that's the hard part.
I've always thought that it's quite amusing that Galway is the week after the Tour de France finishes, and I often wonder what's the greatest test of stamina in sport. The Tour de France are lasting a week on the Peeve at Galway, and I tell you what, it must be close, mustn't it? I think Jonas Vingegaard's dropping out the back after 2 days.
I don't think I would get through a week there.
Oh, you would, Big Bear.
No,
You'd absolutely.
Not my age. Not my age.
Hey, we could go and just do a load of car bombs. It'd be great. That's a drink, by the way. We're not aggressive people, just in case you think we're losing.
Okay, anyway, I can't believe that Barry thinks that Kyprios is going to win this. Right, take it away, Barry. Come on, tell us.
Yeah, come on, Barry. It's your time to shine.
How can this win?
Firstly, well, he's the up-and-coming stayer, G-Rod. Obviously, Trushan. I'm a layer of Trushan here because I think the Gold Cup form will come to the fore here with Stradivarius and with the winner Kyprios. He's the up-and-coming stayer. He's only a 4-year-old. He's undefeated this year. What he did in the Gold Cup, he's won a bit snug at the finish over the 2.5 miles. I think he'll even appreciate the drop back to 2 here. Trushan, for me, has never met a stayer of his ability. Obviously, Trushan has beat Stradivarius on very soft ground. The ground was against Stradivarius in France that time in Longchamp. Won the Northumberland Plate, which I thought was probably an ordinary enough race. Did off a rating of 120, which was great and everything. The handicapper has given him another £4. So, according to the handicapper, he's £5, ahead of the rest of these. The market's suggesting, though, that at the moment, Kyprios 2.84 and getting harder. Trushan 3.15. 6 Stradivarius. Coltrane has come in for support at 9.6. Princess Zoe, we have in our lucky 15, is a 33 to 1 chance on the win-only exchange. A layer of Trushan, and happy to lay it at 3.2. We're going to take 50 quid of the backer stake, please, Keith. And we're going to have a liability of about 110, 112 quid there if we lay it at 3.25. Kyprios, I think, is the most likely winner of the race. And just the whole will he run, won't he run with Trushan. I think the ground could be against them, hopefully. I think that last year he made heavy weather of beating a pretty ordinary field in it. This is a much better race. And at around the 9 to 4 mark, I'm a layer all day.
Could not disagree more.
Go on then.
So I'm trying to turn my
Yes,
right
floor's
page
yours
to
now, then.
paper.
Trushan-
Right, come on.
Trushan is by far the best stayer around. Not even close. Kyprios is not even close. He is,
You've got,
in my
now,
opinion, at least half a stone better than him.
I'm looking at the Racing Post here.
Yeah.
I've got the RPRs, and I know for a fact the man who compiled these RPRs is yourself with Mr. Wilders. And I've got £7 here between them.
Yeah.
That's a big call.
That's a lot.
What did he get for winning? Was it 128 he got for winning?
128 he got, which is the highest Racing Post rating of any stayer, I think, since Westerner. And Westerner achieved it in the Arc, so not even over a staying trip.
Do you genuinely think that was the best
Was
day
that for
performance for
winning
20
the-
years?
For winning the
Was that for winning the Northumberland Plate, G-Rod?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's best run by about £5. That,
It
isn't
was a ridiculous performance, wasn't it?
10 stone £8 he carried that day.
It
way.
was
10 stone £8
jaw dropping. That's
in the Northumberland Plate, and he's really won it quite cosily.
Yeah.
I
I thought it was a great ride, actually. I thought she kept him out the wind all the way.
even on his previous form, he's a better horse than Kyprios. I mean, he
A couple of pounds, yeah.
he beat Stradivarius easily a couple of times last season. Nothing's been able to touch him for the last 2 seasons, pretty much, Trushan, since he won that race
On his
at
favourite
Ascot.
ground.
Yeah, but he'll be fine. He goes on good ground.
Good
He'll be
horses
absolutely
doing
fine
on all
this.
ground, G-Rod.
He'll do it. He'll do it on this ground. He'll do it on this ground. And while I accept that Kyprios is the biggest danger, Kyprios, in my opinion, has got to improve at least £5 to beat him, and I don't see it happening.
okay. Well, what I like.
Paid him £8 according to your ratings.
Well, exactly. That's the £5 is on the assumption that Trushan underperforms by £3. Exactly.
Well, that's an assumption that I've...
For everything you
True.
cheeky pup.
You naughty bag.
Trushan can afford to underperform by £3 or £4 there and still win, I think.
Okay, well this is great.
This is our great game, G-Rod. This is what makes the Betfair Exchange. This is what
Absolutely.
it's all about.
totally
a difference
agree.
of opinion.
Yeah,
I-
I was just about to. This is what is. I love this.
I'm just waiting to hear what Keith Melrose has to say about this all. Whose side he's coming down on here. He'd probably go for Strad now.
Strad.
Prairie Scotsman.
No, I've never been in the Strad that much, but there's a Kyprios. Obviously, is a very interesting horse, an up and coming horse. He didn't want to be there for most of the Gold Cup, and his stamina sort of won him it. This is half a mile less. You know, it's there's a chance he might just spit it out on the track. 'Cause he's a funny old sock, isn't he? I just thought that he's not. Trushan is the one that should be favourite by a narrow margin rather than Kyprios is narrow favourite. Trushan should be narrow favourite, and for that reason I've come down with Trushan. I don't think there's huge amounts in it. Rodway has had a very strong view of that away. I would, Kyprios is about 15 to 8, Trushan 9 to 4. You should flip them, and for that reason I've got to be with Trushan. But I've not got a hugely strong view. I just think that Kyprios is he has sort of walked the walk a little bit, but he sort of had to be. He did it under duress So I'll wait and see a little bit more with him. And I've got a horse here that is run, you know, maybe even if you've been painted into a corner to rate that Northumberland Plate higher than it's actually worth, there's no doubt that was a career best run from the horse. So he's got to be the form pick.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, you know, there is part of me thinking, have I got the Northumberland Plate maybe £2, £2 or £3 too high?
We did last year.
Yeah, but even if you have, you've still...
Even if I have, he's still £5 clear of Kyprios. And Kyprios has got to improve a significant amount to beat him. I rated the Gold Cup, obviously, also as well. And the close proximity of Stradivarius made it very difficult to give Kyprios a good figure. However, I do accept that Kyprios has only had, I think, 7 runs. Yeah. Couple of runs at the trip, and he could well make a huge leap of improvement. But the one thing I do know is that Trushan is going to turn up here. He's going to run to somewhere in the mid 120s, and Kyprios is definitely going to have to improve to beat him. And Kyprios is favourite. It beggars belief. I prepare to be flabbergasted if Trushan gets beat here, but I will be flabbergasted if he is beaten.
I think that's the thing with Trushan. He's going to turn up and he's going to run a low to mid 120s figure, and I can't be certain enough that Kyprios is going to do that to say he should be favourite ahead of Trushan. That's my view on it.
Well, do you know what I think we should do? I'm loving all this toing and froing. I think it's great we've spoken, you know, lengthy about Kyprios and Trushan. I just think, as this is the Goodwood Cup, we have got enough time. If we can skip Kyprios to Trushan because we've covered them, but I think it'd be really cool to just talk a little bit about each runner, because I just have a feeling like people that are tuning in now, we are ahead of the 3:35 at Goodwood, and our social interactions, what we want to hear what you fancy. You might have different ideas, you might have different arguments. We think that it's between those two, or certainly it's a Trushan camp, but Kyprios is the main danger. But it would be nice just to go through them in race card order. But like I say, don't worry, we won't go over Kyprios, we won't go over Trushan again. And before that, because I should do my job properly, we will just quickly go over the betting for you and hope that my eyes cope. Kyprios is 2.8, which is just maybe going to flabbergast G-Rod. That's what he's saying.
2.78 now, 7-4.
There you go. There you go. Trushan, we've got 3.2. The Strad, what are we on there? 6. Coltrane. Now, yeah, there's been a lot about Coltrane. Right, well, let's start from the top. Let's go. Should we change it up? Go to Keith, Barry, G-Rod.
So,
Keith,
who am I
number
talking
1,
about?
away he goes.
Away he goes. He was second in the race last year, wasn't he? Massive price when he came second to Trushan, and that was he's run twice over 2 miles, I think, and he's been placed behind Trushan and Subjectivist on both runs. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's desperate to back a monster price, you could do worse, I think.
Okay.
But those are the terms. I'm not saying back away he goes. I'm saying if you are desperate to back a 40s chance or a 50s chance, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, we're asking you to say a case on which you have done, and that's great. So that's what we want to know. And Barry, Coltrane then. There's been plenty of talk about Coltrane.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of money for him. His win in Sandown last day by 10 lengths was a real signal that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this. I think when he was a younger horse after his 3-year-old season, he got a bad injury, and I've heard Andrew Balding talking about having to, nurse him back and just for the horse to get his confidence back. And I think that win in Sandown would put him in that bracket. But he's currently 11.0 on the exchange, which is a 10-to-1 chance, and he has real place possibilities.
Yeah, and talk about place possibilities, come to you, G-Rod. Enemy, you could see in each way why someone would make the case for Enemy.
Yeah, he's a very strong traveller, and he looked like he might win at Ascot when he was beaten by Princess Zoe, but he had his chance to win. Despite a few people saying he was unlucky, he could still have won that race. Like, there was enough time for him to go and win, and he didn't do it. And then I don't think he was suited by the way the race panned out last time at Sandown. That was the race in which Quickthorn, of course, went out in front and was given an excellent ride. I think it was by Tom Marquand on the night, and Maydorn ground them into submission. One thing, just to make another point, Quickthorn won that Henry race, and he's since won in France. Trushan absolutely hammered him first time out at Nottingham and giving him weight, and that just tells you how good Trushan is.
He's got that in there. And Nate the Great, a whopping price at 270 there, 200, changing all the time. on Betfair, but at a whopping price, Keith. So hard, is it fair to say, hard to see?
Yeah, his best performances are slightly hooky run in that Quickthorn race I've just talked about. You know, he was quite well positioned in a race where Quickthorn got to muck around on the front and beat them like that. So I'm not. Since then, he's been smashed about in the Queen Alexandra. He deserves to be a massive price. Stranger things have happened, but not that many.
Yeah, and in this lineup, well, Barry, it comes to, you know, we sort of kind of need to sing his praises really, because it's pretty heroic what Stradivarius has done, isn't it? And not just at Goodwood, but in this division. He, even if he doesn't win today, he might not, but he's been a star.
Yeah, you're coming to the wrong person probably about this horse, because I've spent the last 4 years trying to get him beat
I know.
every single run and never managed to get it done. And now that he's coming to his twilight years, I find myself in his corner and kind of I'm going to be cheering him on today, obviously, because I've laid Trushan. But, you know, G-Rod makes the case that Trushan's beat him a couple of times, but Trushan's always had his favourite soft ground when he's bumped into him. He's never met Strad on ground that would suit Strad more than Trushan. So, yeah, like I say, I find myself just kind of rooting for the old boy now that he's in his twilight years. And obviously this could be his last run. So a bit of sentimentality there, which surely has no room in punting, but can't help myself.
Yeah, no, I get it. And this is, we just don't know. I mean, if Strad wins, we think this would be his final amazing hurrah and he'd bow out graciously. But they've not said he'll definitely retire.
No, I mean he's going to run to between 117 and 119 on RPRs.
You're going to make damn sure he does, yeah. According
to me, and Trushan's going to run to mid 120s, and Kyprios is probably going to run to mid 120s. So, I've already, like yourself, in the back of my mind, I've already got how am I going to rate this race after Trushan wins?
That's a bad way of doing it.
It's a very difficult thing, because I'm starting to, because obviously Trushan's going to win, so I'm starting to think to myself, well, once Trushan's won, you know, where does he stand in comparison with his Northumberland Plate win? For example?
I don't know, G-Roll, because in race card order, you've still got to talk about Thunderous yet.
Thunderous, yeah. Well, last time he was well fancied for a free-runner race at York, where John Leaper was given far too much to do.
We were on the show together, weren't we?
Then he was in that muddling race that Quickthorn won.
But
then
we thought he looked funny behind, didn't we? Me and you, didn't we both think that?
Yeah, he didn't
finish lame in that race.
But he went funny. He looked funny behind.
But it's the sort of thing that happens with these Mark Johnson horses. Like they bounce back from this, but he ain't good enough, because Stradivarius beat him at York, didn't he? Stradivarius ain't good enough to win this race. I'll put the caveat, because this happened to me on Saturday, right? Because Pole Driver wasn't good enough to win the King George, but he did. Stradivarius is not good enough to win this race if the two market leaders run to form. If they don't run to form, then Stradivarius can win. You know, that's what happened on Saturday, isn't it? Essentially, Pile Driver was great or whatever, but of course, you know, half the field didn't run their race for one reason or another.
No, of course Stradivarius can win. I think it's just sometimes. I mean, it's the hardest thing for Stradivarius is he's trying to get against younger, fresher legs, and that's hard for a horse of his age. I mean, you know, you can't get away from that. But yeah, he can win. But Keith, we're going to sign off with Princess Zoe, horse number 9, who I just thought. Tony Mullins did a most amazing job about keeping us up to date when she had to have veterinary care on Twitter. I thought he was absolutely brilliant at that, and she's a grand, you know, she's a grand mare, isn't she?
She is, and she was one of the last off the bridle in the Gold Cup, from what I remember. She travelled really well into the straight and just sputtered out a little bit in that race. Loads of form at this level.
Burning victory.
You know, mid 110s, consistent. Gets that mare's allowance, that puts her into the sort of 118, 119 bracket. It's far from out the question that she'll be in the first 3. You know, if I was doing a play spot, she'd be in my play spot. But I think there's too many really good horses in this race for her to win, but I would not be remotely surprised if she got herself in the 3.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to look at a bit of the chat. I haven't really given it enough attention today because I'm learning the ropes, in case you hadn't guessed. But it's quite a good one. Bots and racing, like what's the TriCast pay? I suppose the question is how how else could you play this? A, for fun, to make it valuable. What could we maybe throw at Barry Betfair wise? What could we do if you think Kyprios is main danger, for example?
Well, I don't think it's a bad way to play it, because I think you've got, if you want to play the Tricast, you've got 2 horses that will definitely turn up and run to a good level.
Yeah, I think so.
Trushan, Stradivarius will turn up and run to a level. If there's going to be one of these top 3 bomb, it will be Kyprios, and I hope it does.
Okay, well, we do just have a social here from Anand Goring, and it says Tricast. First, Princess Zoe. Second, Enemy. Third, Stradivarius. Now, Barry, that's a tall shot. What would that pay? It'd be massive, wouldn't it? If it went as in that order: first, Princess Zoe. Second, Enemy. And third, Stradivarius. Be huge.
Tricast betting. I'd have to dig it out, Nat.
Yeah, don't worry. It'd be a big price.
There's absolutely 0 chance of that happening.
I'm no Carol Vorderman.
I mean, if that happens, then
there's got to be a lot of horses. There's got to be a lot of good horses massively underperform for that to happen.
Yeah, no, that's a tall order.
I've put up a suggestion for the Tricast today that, what you said, the one that's likeliest to bomb out, if there's going to be a bomb out, probably is Kyprios. Yes, he's talented enough to be the winner, but he's also, from what he showed him at Ascot, still inexperienced enough, quirky enough, whatever you want to call it, to maybe bomb out. So I thought a Tricast with Strads and Trushan and Coltrane.
That's nice.
Was the sort of a combination one would hopefully, and get them in a nice order, and you'd pay well because you got
I'll go back on what I said. I actually really hope that Kyprios doesn't bomb. I actually hope that he runs right up to his best, and Trushan runs right up to his best, and Strad runs up to his best, because if they do, we're going to have one of the races of the season, if not the race of the season, right here, right now. Yeah,
and this is sport, and that is what we want, and we want these horses running to their best. Of course we do, otherwise that's just not nice. Another social, Bobby Kimber says, Princess Zoe, a massive price, no? Surely great each way shout. Yeah, absolutely.
Discussed it already. I mean, the thing is, I just feel like you'd be throwing that win bit away. Place only or something, go in the place market on the exchange or whatever you do, and maybe play her that way. But honest, I wouldn't discourage anybody from doing that.
Yeah.
But I just would feel like the win part's such a long shot in this company.
What would your 3 be, Barry?
Kyprios, Stradivarius, and Princess Zoe.
Oh, see, this is good. This is why it's always so fascinating. I think I'd probably be with Keith, I think I'd have Coltrane in there, but it's not easy, is it?
He's a good horse, Coltrane.
I think I'd have Coltrane in there.
He's a slow burner, Coltrane, isn't he? And last time out, he won by a wide margin at Sandown, and still leaves him with quite a bit to find with the very best of these, but who knows, if he takes the same sort of step forward that he made from his last one, same straightforward step forward from the last run to the last run to this one, it's not beyond the realms.
Did Ross give you any jokes about Coltrane at all?
No.
No? Okay. He's failed me there.
He'll have loads. He just didn't share them with me, and he shared the.
Because obviously Coltrane's he'll be named after the 6th oftenest.
Yeah.
John Coltrane. So I'd imagine there'll be some sort of
what?
Sax player.
A sax officer. Right, okay. Ross is back on tomorrow, isn't he? Ross Bridley's on with us.
Roscoe is back on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, we are really quite excitingly, it is.
He looks well, doesn't he, Trushan?
3:33.
Really well.
We are very
really
close.
Well, there's no danger that you were going to say, he's looking a bit warm behind the saddle.
They are down at the start. They're not started loading as far as I can see. We do have another social, which is great to hear from Frizzy Red, because Frizzy Red, Frizzy, very good at always getting in contact with us, and we like that. What does the panel think of Atzini riding Strad? Yeah, I'm sorry, Frizzy Red, because it is a really poignant and important conversation to be had.
It's a good move.
Well, I wasn't bothered in the slightest about it until I saw the way the Tory's been riding today. He means it today, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That ride on Kyprios was brave. The one on Forest Falcon that won him the race, that was another great ride. The Tory's having a great day.
That's what we said. He had this pensive look on his face, as in, do you know what it was almost like? I'm gonna show you beepers. That he looks like.
Yeah, there was definitely some words you couldn't broadcast running through his head when we saw him after that first race.
He will be like.
But
as far as Andrea on board Strad, well, we know.
Atzini's a good jockey. I was, as I say, until I saw the Tory was meant it so much today. I had, Atzini's a very good jockey, and I had no issue with it at all. You'd probably the Tory's giving you an extra couple of pounds off his back, the way he's been riding today, just about. But the only reason he's riding like that really is because he's not on Stradivarius.
Yeah. And what do you think about it all, Barry? Obviously, the Bjorn is his horse. He owns Stradivarius. It's his decision. Andrea on board. Have you got an opinion? Does it bother you? Do you think it's positive, negative?
Just racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's get chopped off all the time. He's just a high-profile horse. He's had a great relationship with the horse, and he's made a lot of money out of him. So move on.
Yeah.
Kick on. It's just the stage of his career that he's at, Frankie.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting to his twilight years as well. And it's the owner's prerogative. Some people will be disappointed with the owner, but they pay the bills. They get the call.
100%, and we're all getting older, guys.
Let's not forget that Andrea Zeni has actually already won 2 Goodwood Cups on Stradivarius.
That's what I said. He knows him.
It's easy to just think, oh well, Stradivarius and Frankie, they're a partnership. But before they became that famous partnership, Andrea Zeni used to ride
Has
Stradivarius
Frankie been
regularly.
in 26 races? Is that for some reason that figure is in my little brain? I think that's right. They are starting to load, and what we're going to do for the Goodwood Cup is we're all going to commentate. Not at the same time, because that would be an absolute flipping disaster, but we need to we're going to all take it in turns, because you know how good I am at commentary.
Right, you all have a bash.
So I'll probably start, because then I can get away with about 3 seconds before passing it on. So
Have you heard my commentaries before?
have you heard mine? They are
quite
going
famous.
into the stalls.
Only one more to go.
I'm sorry to our viewers that you have to witness Natalie Green trying to commentate, but I will keep it brief, and we will go probably down the line. We go to Barry, and Barry can do the market. Okay.
No, leave it in the studio, guys.
Okay, leave it in the studio. Right, they are off. They are broken. Well, Princess Zoe, actually, easy to spot for me. The grey, she's made good strides out the stalls. The Strad is there, nice and prominent under Andrea at Zini. One's pretty keen. His enemy's got a big bounding stride as he goes along there. And up towards the front is Nate the Great, but we're not sure Nate the Great is quite going to stay there. Kyprios is making good headway. The chestnut with the white blaze. Jockey just having a quick look round as they're all starting to bunch up a little bit. Stradivarius in the middle, looking comfortable. And next to Strad is Trushan Girod.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? Trushan is always a little bit keen through the early stages of your race, isn't he? He's a little bit keen again. Nate the Great's taking them along, thunderous up front. I'm quite surprised that Ryan hasn't got Kyprios in the same position that, I thought he'd have him right bang up there like he did when he won at Leopardstown. All that, I think he made all that day. He's just in behind the lead as Princess Zoe, but looking forward to that Strad.
He was a 10's on chance
later
that day.
Yeah,
He was a 10 on chance that day. You know, he had no choice but to go on.
So
He's happy to get a sit the way he was in the Gold Cup, I'm sure.
So Nate the Great still leads them in the Goodwood Cup. Thunderous is outside. Princess Zoe's there in third. Trushan is following Princess Zoe, which might be a good place to be, because Princess Zoe, if the good Gold Cup's any guide, might be one of the last off the bridle here. Kyprios is on Princess Zoe's outside, and Strad is following Kyprios. So Trushan and Strad are man-marking two of the other major players in the race. Coltrane, in turn, is marking Strad. Enemy is right behind Trushan, and away he goes as the back marker of the lot of them. So we've got four groups of two here. We've got 4 echelons of 2, with away he goes at the back, and up front it's Nate the Great and Thunderous, with Kyprios now on the outside because they switch and turn that many times at Goodwood. This is now sort of the outside before they make that turn, and then it's Princess Zoe, Stradivarius and Trushan up together. Enemy alongside Coltrane. Enemy's niggling along a little bit, and away he goes at the back of the field. Thunderous now looks to have a clear lead ahead of Kyprios and Nate the Great. Princess Zoe still moves well. Stradivarius on the outside is looking just a little bit less than comfortable there, potentially. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating that, but they're going uphill now. Yeah. Trushan just gets a little niggle to make sure he keeps tabs on them. There's 6 furlongs to go in the Goodwood Cup. Don't want to get too far away at this stage. So Coltrane is marking Trushan, and behind them it is Enemy, and away he goes. But they're just starting to get a little break here. And
Trushan out to 4 now.
Yeah, he's got a little bit. He's given them a bit of a start here.
Princess Zoe. Princess Zoe
Kyprios
and Strad.
Here he goes.
Kyprios has come to the front, and Stradivarius is not getting run again.
He's too good. He's
kept Strad in. Holly has kept Andrea Zini in on Stradivarius, but she moves up very powerfully there. Travels better than Kyprios. The whip's up on Kyprios. Princess Zoe's going away. Coltrane travels really well on the outside. Thunderous not going away on the far side, but Kyprios Kyprios hits the front now.
Oh,
He's still got half a length up on Trushan. Is Trushan going to find an awful lot here?
what he's finding.
Stradivarius is still trying to get out. He's been trying to do that for two
Strad,
furlongs.
Trushan!
Ultran's coming out. Kyprios is hanging up the camber, hanging into Trushan.
Trushan!
Stradivarius gets to run up the inside. Stradivarius,
Trushan!
all four across the track here with the way he goes coming fifth. Kyprios is staying on really strongly. He's got it, surely. One more go from Trushan. Holly coming down the outside. And Strad stays on. Stradivarius is going to hit the front. He's won. And it's Kyprios gets it ahead of Stradivarius. Trushan third and Coltrane fourth. Kyprios just does it against Stradivarius.
Scenes in the studio. I can't.
Stradivarius.
Yeah.
Strad.
It's just nodded.
Wow. I want to cry because
Cracking race. And I think they've all ran their race there, G-Rod, have they? Would that be the first statement?
No, I would say is the answer.
Trushan's not run his race.
Trushan is a long way below his best that day.
He's not run his race. He's a better horse than Stradivarius. He's not 2 lengths worse than Stradivarius.
Ground then. Is it the ground?
They'll blame the ground. They always do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Of course.
Anyway, it was a great race. It was a great.
Story of the race in running 2.22. Stradivarius hit a low. Trushan hit a low 1.6, so 6-4 on. Your winner, Kyprios, the favourite, hit a high of 3.5. Betfair SP at 2.6. It's a cracking race.
Wow.
And
Great race, yeah.
Cool Card is back and forth, but they're all there at the finish.
Are you saying
great race? Great.
Yeah, great
did
race.
Strad never go shorter than 5-4 against?
Probably not.
Hit a low of 2.22.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5-4.
Yeah, right.
Dearie me. I thought he'd won about 50 yards out.
Deceptive angle here.
Must be because he was
I honestly
in front.
thought
The block, lads. There's a new kid in the block.
Stradivarius looked so happy in this. He looked absolutely alive. Fair play to Barry Orr, because at the end of the day, you've got the winner. The winner was Kyprios. Here, I wouldn't have said it. If I'm honest with you, I think Strad's moving a lot better. I feel the story, it would have just been great to have seen Strad just go out on a win, but it didn't. Barry Orr has firmly got the trophy because Barry's had 2 cracking wins today. That is your Goodwood Cup winner. It's Kyprios.
It was a great race, a fantastic race between 3 stars. It was a great race.
And Ryan Moore has responded. He's responded so well to the way Kyprios ran in the Gold Cup, because had he kept him out the back again and done that, he might have got beat. But he's kept him in the first 3 or 4 throughout. He's presented him nice and early. Basically, he's got him rolling. Kept him interested, got him rolling. And that might be what's winning the race, because if he's sort of coming with that wet sail, he's not got the kick Stradivarius has in all likelihood. Very few steers have had that down the years. So it was potentially a pivotal move by Moore to just keep him up there all the way through. It was a great race.
He doesn't need to retire, does he, Strad?
He
Keep
looked
him going.
absolutely
Loved it, hasn't he?
beans. He looked full.
Mad to retire.
Yeah, keep
You'd
going.
be mad to retire. And Barry, in particular, we're watching right now in the replay there, does come around that bend. That is when I thought Princess Zoe and Strad were both. But Strad, he looked better he looks absolutely like he wants it. And it's really nice, actually, to read some of the chat on YouTube, which is brilliant, because we love getting everyone's comments in. Kyprios is a beast. The boy, Ryan Moore, he idles in front, not Ryan, the horse, but he's a monster. The future of the staying division's probably decided right there. All hail the new king. Trushan a tad disappointing. There's gutted for Strad. I agree. That would be. I'm gutted for Strad because, actually, I wouldn't retire him now, would you? He just looks absolutely amazing. Strad ran so well. I mean, this is great to get all this chat about this race. This is mega.
This is what racing is about. For 3 stars fighting it out. It's not about turning up and watching Vaid beat inferior opposition tomorrow. It's about 3 true stars taking each other on, the heat of the battle. They all put their all in, and Kyprios has come out on top. I think the fascinating thing about Kyprios, because I think one of the chatters sort of mentioned there, is there's a little bit about him where he is a little bit lazy.
That's what they said, idols, and it's fair.
The idols,
yeah.
and we just really don't know how good he could be, because he keeps winning, and I think there's just always going to be a little bit more in the tank, although I'm still convinced that Trushan will beat him at some point this season.
Well, we shall find out. And what would you do, guys? We're getting great chat on YouTube, which is brilliant, and we love all your socials, but I couldn't retire Strad after that performance. Could you, Barry?
No, definitely not. Couldn't retire him. No.
Look at him
Just listening
there.
to Ryan Moore there. He's saying about the winner. It's only his 8th run. You know, like he definitely. You know, there's plenty more improvement there. He's in front a long way out,
Okay.
and he's galloped all the way to the line. In regards to Stradivarius, it'd be hard to retire a horse that just after getting nutted in that race by the new kid in the block, really, isn't it? And he's finished a couple of lengths in front of, or a length or so in front of Trushan. So interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, but no, it's interesting to hear what Ryan Moore's saying, because let's give credit to Kyprios here, because like you say, yes, maybe a bit quirky, yes, maybe looks a bit idle, but at the end of the day, pulled it out the bag, and we just still, like Barry's already said, we just still don't quite know.
They've run to the pound, have they not? So the first two to what they run from the Gold Cup,
more or less. He's still hung up the camber, hasn't he, Kyprios?
Yeah,
he hangs, isn't he?
He's that sort of horse,
it's not an excuse. Yeah, he is. He's quirky. It's not quite an excuse for Trushan. I wouldn't ever hold it and say, but he does hang into him actually up the camber. Strad keeps a straight line. For all he didn't get that clear run, for all he got blocked up a little bit. He still got plenty of time, and he kept the true line. So I don't know if those two things sort of balance out a little bit. So Strad's, I think he's run as well as he can now. It's probably about a 119, 120 from him.
And then
Kyprios gets the same figure. He's sort of running the King the Gold Cup.
I wanted to give Kyprios a higher figure for his Gold Cup.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult when you've got Strad, because you know Strad is only going to run to around about what he usually runs to. He's probably done the same there. Like I say,
he's actually been an admirably consistent horse since he lost the crown a bit. He's been really consistent, even
been
so.
Incredibly good.
Oh, honestly, it's an absolute delight. But that
you've been spotted as well in the chat.
No.
Have you?
Taking it off Goodwood for a second. You've been asked about my mate Mozzie in the goal.
You have.
The Moz. Yeah, my mate Mozzie. Yeah, Barry loves my mate Mozzie, don't you, Barry? He surely wins, doesn't he? He surely is one of the bets of the week in the Galway Hurdle on Thursday. He must be. I've been trying to get in these people's heads, the people that own him and train him, for a little while, because there's been a lot of messing around with this horse, in my opinion, and I just wonder if this is the race they've been looking out for. I mean, there were some weird bold bits and pieces going on with my mate Mozzie last year.
Oh, there you got it. It was Devo. How strong is
Devo.
Gerard and my mate was
very, very strong on him,
Hi,
Devo.
Devo.
He's got his good ground. He's got his front running. I reckon he'll go off in front with any luck. Again, they messed around with tactics at points last year. And even if he were to run to his county hurdle form, he'd have a really strong chance. He was 8th in the county hurdle behind State Man. Some good winners have come out of that race. Felix Deji, I think, was in behind 10th. Obviously won at the Punchdown Festival.
Yeah, he's a direct debit for me in that race.
He has got a massive chance in that, because he must go right-handed, mustn't he? According to connections.
Very slick hurdler as well when he gets rolling. So that was. Maybe he's a very good flat horse, actually. He'd only been far off. You'd only been 50s if he'd run in that.
Well, they've been keeping ticking him over on the flat, haven't they? He's had a couple of runs on the flat. He's been beaten a couple of times, but there's been a plan with this horse for a little while. I've had this feeling.
I thought the plan was the county hurdle.
I thought the plan was the county too, but he ran well in the county.
Well, you go, Devo. You've got a very well answered conclusion.
He just wins, Devo. Just
wins, all right? Well, we've just seen blockbuster, box office, we're Hollywood, whatever everyone want to dream about. We have just seen a blockbuster, stellar, star-studded Goodwood Cup.
Well, lads, we've also seen a time that's gone under standard.
Absolutely. So that's what we should.
Yeah, excellent.
Second, 1.26 seconds under RP standard.
1.26.
So all that nonsense about they've overwatered.
Well, yeah.
Nonsense, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. As soon as the Times came out, the Times said proper good ground.
The ground's
fine.
Proper
good ground.
You know, if anything,
the trainer said that it walked like it was on the slow side of good, and Holly confirmed that after the first race. That's why they ran the horse. Trushan.
Yeah.
The trainer said that, Alan King.
What did I know?
Hey, guess what? There you go. Fact.
What does he know?
Fact, eh?
What does he know? That's it.
What does King know?
There are very few facts. But no, that was also... Could be a stupid question. I'm going to ask it anyway. We don't mind stupid questions. That was that good. It was the clash that we wanted. Are we going to see that clash again?
Oh, I hope we see that clash
clash again?
3 or 4 times again this season. Why not?
I suspect what you'll get is they might all just avoid each other now.
Why?
That's because they might.
Well, Trushan will only run if it's soft ground.
He'll probably go to the Arc weekend.
Yeah.
Kyprios will go to Ascot.
Hoping the heavens open.
Yeah, Kyprios will go to Ascot. Strad might just go to the Donny Cup for a
I think the Donny Cup. I think
valedictory.
The Donny Cup.
He'll just go
Honestly,
to the Donny Cup, victory lap,
That's
give
what
it
I
the
think.
oi, and then that'll be him.
Yeah.
And
I think Strad will go to the Donny Cup.
so you say, oh, we'll see that loads. We're getting excited about it. There's a much better
I think
chance
that
they'll
was
just all avoid each
box
other.
office TV, and we might not get that again.
Oh, don't be so downbeat.
I'm not normally the one of us.
Surely
Kyprios
it's
could
going to
go
happen.
to the Irish St. Ledger, lad.
Oh, no, not that race.
You could. There's actually a lot of options for
How
stairs.
is that race a Group 1? I mean, that is one of the worst races of the season, isn't it?
The Irish Ledger.
Awful.
There's just not enough good ones to go round, really. in
No,
these
you
stairs.
know.
They should make the Irish St. Ledger a handicap, like the Ebor. That's what they should do. It'd be a great race.
Yeah,
Excellent,
that'd be
yeah.
good, wouldn't it?
Would
Yeah.
actually. To be fair,
Group 1 handicap. They have those in Australia, don't
We should have Group 1 handicaps. Should have them over jumps as well.
they? Group 1 handicap.
Group 1 handicaps over
handicap.
Grade 1
Grade one
handicaps
handicap.
over jumps. We absolutely should have
Grade
that.
1 handicap.
The Hennessy. Well, the Ladbrokes Trophy these days. Grade 1 handicap.
Yeah.
Welsh National. Grade 1 handicap. Grand National. Grade 1 handicap. No
Yeah.
reason why not.
Do you think that you'd get Grade 1 horses turn up for them?
Well, it's not the point, though, is it? It just means it
So in which
gives
case,
you.
don't matter, does it? It might as well be Grade 3.
Well, it demands try to put more prize money for them and get maybe Grade 1 horses in them, which you get anyway. You know, you're getting horses on the way anyway to these races.
Sometimes you get Frodon turn up one, don't you? He
Yeah.
turned up one at Cheltenham, didn't he?
Yeah.
Grade 3.
Yeah.
Suppose that could be a Grade 1 handicap.
Your Paddy Power Gold Cup would be one as well, and that's the sort of race that could attract Group 1 horses, Grade 1
I
horses.
think
that
we
doesn't
need
currently.
like you three on the BHA panel when deciding how
The
it
Jumps
could be
Pattern
quite
Committee.
fun, wouldn't it?
I
Yeah.
actually want to be on the Jumps Pattern
Yeah.
Committee.
Why couldn't you
it's
get
a
on
nerd.
it?
It's a nerd out for me. I want to do it.
Why couldn't you get on
Why
it?
doesn't that surprise me?
Why can the Melrose Quizmaster? Can you get on it? I'll support you. Let's get a petition.
I would
David Cleary's the chair of it, I think. and
I would
know
say it's
David.
probably about 100 to 1 chance that I'll ever get on a BHA panel and that. But I wish you well in campaigning for me.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get on any committee of any sorts ever. We have got one more race for you. Sadly, it's absolutely flown by, to be fair. I knew it would because we've got such a great
has.
panel in the
We're
studio.
not got two, no. We're not doing that.
No, yeah.
Oh, don't you scare me, Barry. I don't think so. I think we're finishing on the 4:10. Just one more.
Yeah. Check the running order, Barry. Come on.
Come on, Barry. Don't you? We wouldn't
And
do
the
that.
thing is
We're
that-
doing the 4:45. That's the
Yeah,
only.
they are. ITV are doing it, but we're going to
It's
go
a
to the pub.
maiden.
Hopefully
Yeah.
you're going to relax, Barry, or go for it. Have you had a nice... Because, Barry, you're really into your walking. Have you had a walk already today?
I did. I was up at 7 this morning. I'd
Nice.
done my walk and then I had a nice swim. And I feel really fresh and I'm delighted. Kyprios has done the business there and I get bragging rights over G-Rod.
Yeah,
I wish I was sitting beside him there. I'd be giving him a little gentle ribbon with my elbow. do it to him for me, Keith, please.
Who's
Give him a little,
how
give him a
many
little nudge.
how many
Tickle the
pounds?
bell.
I still can't believe it. I still
Tickle the bell.
can't believe it.
How many pounds does the plate get pulled down, mate? How many pounds does the plate get pulled down?
The plate is on the watch list.
Yeah, £2, I reckon.
We've
£2 off the
We've
plate.
not made enough of it because this is going to Barry Orr today.
It is, yeah.
This
yeah.
is going to Barry. Barry said before the show, I've not had
We
a
need
great...
to send him a little replica so
Oh,
that when
we
he
could get
gets
you a
it, he
miniature,
can-
Barry,
he
if you
can-
like.
He can lift it.
Like a little tiny weeny one that we have to... Because I think now we have to pay some weird... I tried to send my horse's passport to Ireland the other day, successfully did, but had to pay this strange thing, customs, and I forgot about all that Brexit stuff. It kind of just
Yeah.
left my head for a while, and then I remembered. So we'll send you on if it's cheap enough to send over, otherwise we'll forget it. So yeah, Barry's had a good walk and a sea swim, was it?
Oh, cool. Not hard enough for the sea.
Yeah, I think you
Can't do
are. I think you probably
I
are.
will eventually, but
I
who
think...
call that Irish Sea?
Yeah, I don't blame you. But, so we do have one more race for you, and it's
going to fly by too, let me assure you. It's 5 furlongs at Goodwood.
it is going to... we're going to blink and you'll miss it, so do not miss it.
I'm looking forward to it. Got
4:10.
to call 15 sprinters over the fastest 5F in the country, just about.
I know, but you've done a fantastic job today of commentary, because I think everybody watching the show will agree that I couldn't really do it, and you're very good at it. Maybe that's...
We'll see
It's
how
another
it goes. I mean,
string to your bow.
luckily, I've been watching more sprinters this year, so I should know some of these horses.
It is fast and furious, isn't it, when you've got to call something like this with, I mean...
Well, what happens at Goodwood? So the straight track, we say it's a fast straight track at Goodwood, but in reality, the 6 furlong track, the first furlong's uphill. about 14
Right.
feet, according to your thing.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
said yeah.
Whereas when you start, the crest of the hill is a 5 furlong start, more or
That's right,
less.
yeah.
First 2 furlongs, bomb downhill, then 3 furlongs more or less flat. Is that a reasonable sort of
Yeah, there's
summation?
a slight rise at the finish.
Very slight rise, but
Very
you know,
slight.
it's basically 2 furlongs to get rolling, downhill, go as fast as you damn well can, and then 3 furlongs more or less on the flat.
So not only do we need an absolute powerhouse, a horse with speed, massive engine, but we actually also need a horse that's got pretty good balance, because for some horses, they're not actually going to love that.
Well, the horse with the worst balance just won the Goodwood Cup.
We have another social. Great to hear once more from Frizzy Red. Balding really going for it with Stone of Destiny in the next. Claimer on and Cheap Piece on. Yeah, I saw that, the Cheap Piece. That's interesting. Hopefully today is the day. It is interesting. We've got 15 runners for the 410. Nicholson Gin Handicap Class 2. 18,000 to the winner over the 5 furlongs. We've just talked about the... What's it? Topography. Oh God, what's the fancy word? Topography of Goodwood. Keith Melrose is going to be commentating. What is your reply to Frizzy Red on the Andrew Balding horse?
There's 2 horses in this race that have got first-time cheap pieces on, and it's Stone of Destiny and Dusky Lord, and both those horses found the dash at Epsom happening too fast for them.
Yes.
And this isn't quite as fast as Epsom, but it's the next best thing. So that's why these horses have got the cheap pieces on. They both found it a little bit too hot in the fastest race there is.
Especially Dusky, he was quite up-paced, wasn't he?
He was. He's run well since at Newmarket. I thought he should have been just about fab for this on the back of that Newmarket run. And he was high on my list, but the pieces are just there as an insurance policy because he's back on a flying 5 furlongs now.
Yeah.
And that's why, that explains your headgear, really. Those horses, just as an insurance policy. Stone of Destiny's run well in the dash before. He's run well in a lot of these big sprint handicaps. He's getting on a little bit now, isn't he?
And
He's
has an excellent
7.
claim on board, though, with Harry Davis. Absolutely excellent. What about another claim on board, though, for this Night on Earth, this all-weather kind of made hay for Mick Appleby? Only won once on turf?
Possibly so, but he's perfectly acceptable and tough. I mean, he blasted out at Chester in May, ran a very good race. Harry Davey was on him that day, actually. I thought he'd run a good race at Epsom, but 6 is a bit too much for him. He blew the start a little bit too. He's drawn... The draw is really interesting. He's in 14 of 15 Night on Earth. So him and Indian Creek, they're 14 and 15. They're both quite pacey horses. They tend to race up there. And if they decide that they're not going to eschew the near the stand side rail, because this is the straight course, they're going to come to that stand side, or they're going to have the stalls on that stand side rail. Sometimes they go down the centre, sometimes they stick to the stand rail. They've not had a chance to stick to the stand rail yet because obviously it's all been round course races so far, no sprints. So we'll have to wait and see a little bit what's going on, and that should inform the last race. We'll be off air by the time of the last race.
Yeah.
But the last race, wherever they come in this race, you can basically say they're going to come in the 5:55. So it'll give you a big clue to that one, but there's lots of pace right on the rail here.
Yeah.
Night on Earth and Indian Creek. So I'm expecting him to blast off and try and get the rail. Freddie Larson's a good claimer. He's not Harry Davies, but he's a good claimer. And I expect those 2 to have a right old ding-dong on that near rail.
Okay, so that's the pace. So G-Rod, have you got a firm pick? How are you playing this race then? Have you got a couple in each way? Or
I'd say I spent about 5 minutes having a look and then decided that it was impossible.
It's a hard race. It's a hard race.
Yeah, I threw in one of my swerves, Nat.
yeah.
Got a bit of a losing run, aren't I, on this show now? I think that is now 12 losing in a row. So I'm not going to be playing here. I thought that sometimes with a draw at Goodwood, you think you want to be on the stands rail and it can end up being in the middle. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I think in the 2-year-old races it is quite an advantage to be on the rail because they're inexperienced horses.
Yes.
They can get that run up against the stand side rail. It's not the easiest of courses, is it? It's, like Keith was saying, downhill pretty much the whole way. With these experienced handicappers, they can handle going down the middle, and I just wonder if the middle might be the place to be. So we're split on the draw as well.
Okay, Barry, how are we going to play this for our finale? You've had such a good time today already. I reckon this is going to be your treble. I reckon you can do it. I reckon you can do a hat trick, Barry. Or
Equality is your favourite at the moment, 7.8. 8-2 Celsius, Dusky Lord 8-8. Just to let you know, Strad's not being retired. His owners just confirmed that.
Good news.
That's a good
Stone
move.
of Destiny 11, Night on Earth 11, Atlas Bay, the top weight is 11.5 rand. I thought if the rain came or if there was any sort of cut in the ground, Lord Ritterford to go well. Won the race last year, has been trained obviously specifically with this race in mind, I would imagine. But I don't think, because we haven't seen, like Pete says, we haven't seen any races over the sprint trip yet. We don't know whether there's enough water on the track on that on the stand side. Although Lord Ritterford has been drawn, he's drawn 2. He's would probably come up the middle anyway, and it seems so far on the round course that's where they wanted to be. But it's a watch and brief with him for now, is what I'm trying to say, I suppose. Indian Creek is a horse that's never raced over 5 furlongs. He'd be prominent, but if he misses the kick and they don't come up that far side, he could find himself all at sea. So what I'm going to do here, please, Keith, in the 5-place market on the Betfair Sportsbook, you can bet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We're going to lay Indian Creek, and we can get them at 2.6, which is 6 to 4. So we're going to take 25 quid at the backer's stake. Happy to be a price taker here. Take 25 quid at the backer's stake at 2.60. We'll have a liability of around 40 quid. So we want Indian Creek beat out of the first 5 places. Just, I don't like that he's trying 5 furlongs now for the first time, and this is a fast 5.
While it's a really interesting position to be in now, actually, because I put up Indian Creek, but Barry is laying in first 5, which feels like a bit of the kick in the teeth. 5 places, but no. If he's getting beat, or if he's running, if he's not, there's a good chance he just blows and he misses the start, and that's him. Yeah. That's a legitimate thing that might happen. But I can also see him blasting out, getting the rail, and running a massive race. Which is why Barry's laid in 5 places and not laid him to win.
Okay.
You know? If you had to
Sorry, Keith, I was listening to the interview with Bjorn Nelson that time. I didn't hear you laying him. But
no, I didn't. I hadn't said yet. But what I was sort of saying there was that, I mean, I get it, because if he doesn't, you should know the fate of your bet within 100 yards, I reckon. Because if he gets out and gets that rail, he's got a damn good chance of making the 5 as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, it's the thing with 5 furlong races, a lot of these races are settled in the first 100 yards.
Yeah.
Especially ones at Goodwood.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to watch, because, if he doesn't go very close, him finishing absolutely nowhere is actually quite high on the list of things that might happen.
Does it not concern you that a horse who's ran 33 times in his career between 6 and a mile and has never tried, they haven't even considered trying 5 furlongs with him till now?
No, because people are wrong an awful lot, Barry.
Do what?
Yeah, so he's fast over other trips. You know, he's I don't think he liked Epsom match last time particularly, but he had enough speed for it. He's blasted out at Windsor before. It's a track where you need to be able to ping out and get out the lids, and he's run well here before over 6 too, and actually traded very short over 6 quite a few times in recent runs. I'm actually just looking at his profile now, and obviously at Windsor in May and here in June, traded it shorter than 6 is on. So he's got loads of pace. He's demonstrably got that. D'Souza as well, he's only got one way of doing things these days, D'Souza. He goes as hard as he damn well can until his horse can't go anymore. It's the way he does it now. It's effective a lot of the time. I wish there was a bit more art to it these days, but that's the way he does it. And he's got the right draw to do that. I think he's got, of all the horses that would be dropping back in trip to come to Goodwood, this would be one of the horses to do it with, because he has been showing so much speed over further.
Well, it's interesting, and that again, what we say is good to have these different opinions. It's great to hear Barry's trade. It's great to hear what Keith's thinking. I just wanted to quickly say, because of course there's going to be a bit of chat about, I've already had a few messages saying Frankie wouldn't have made the same mistake again, and no one's saying Andrea's made a mistake. It's saying here the replay is showing that Strad got squeezed out 3 times. This is just information I'm passing on. Don't shoot the messenger. Not my fault.
He did get squeezed out.
But he did.
He got out, but Strad's always been about 2 or 3 furlongs.
Yep.
And he got 2 or 3 furlongs, and in that 2 or 3 furlongs he stayed straighter than Kyprios, and Kyprios carried true chance. So I think there's a little bit of each, because when they said after the Gold Cup he'd got a bad ride this or a bad ride that, it didn't. No, basically he could only foresight would have led the Tory to go up the inside or hang back further to go widest of all. There was nothing. The Tory couldn't have foreseen what happened there. People love to make excuses for Stradivarius because he's Stradivarius. He didn't need any excuses today.
But at the end of the day, he ran an absolute blinder. He came second in the Google Cup. It's absolutely fantastic. Kyprios was the winner. That's it. Devo, it's good to hear from you again. Surprised to see Rayon running after yesterday. Are they up to something? Yeah. That ran at Windsor last night. We can do a bit of checking. Yeah, good
possibly.
point for Carver.
It's the absolute opposite of they're up to something normally.
Yeah,
these things happen.
No, Devo, well done actually. Well done for picking that out, because we like all these interesting. So,
I do think that's quite interesting.
So you're saying it's opposite to interesting. You're saying it is interesting.
I think it's quite interesting because they booked Sam Fielden last night.
Yeah, that's it. It does seem a little bit like today was the real day, and
almost like
was it what a pipe opener?
just have a go.
We'll sharpen him up.
He was beaten a long way out last night.
Yeah,
I watched that race. He was beaten a long way out.
Okay.
But they've put Franny Norton back up on him. I mean, he rode...
Another real positive.
Oh, yeah, he will be. But he's drawn in one, so he's not got many options. He'll be right down the centre of the track, actually. In fact, he'll be away from... Because 15's so many runners, he'll be going down opened up ground.
I actually think Devo's... was it Devo?
Yeah.
I actually think he's going to win. I think Devo's right. I bet it wins.
Good. Stick with you. You think Rayon wins?
Go for it, Devo. Yeah, I think.
Go for it. Yeah.
As I say, I haven't even looked at this race, but that is really interesting.
Okay, that is. And what about?
It's interesting that he ran last night. It's interesting he ran under a £7 claimer.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he was beaten really early on. Screams to me they obviously didn't really care about whether he won. And it's interesting that they've stuck Franny Norton back on, and Franny Norton rode him to win at Pontefract in April, and has ridden him 2 of his last 4 starts. Franny Norton's only had 4 rides for Kevin Burke. Carl Burke in the last 4, and there's a bit of money for. I bet this wins. Well done, Devo. Bear wins.
All right.
He's a very fast horse, Rayon. Normally, he's very.
We're only 5 minutes away, and has been a little bit of a couple of questions and a bit of chat about Ornate. So what can we sort of say about Ornate?
Good old Could I back him to lead?
Love me.
Is there a special to lead after 2F market, Barry?
He's a warrior, isn't he, the old Ornate? They've done his wind, which could help him.
He could.
He's been a standing dish in these races for so long. Is he? What age is he now? He's a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
But Duke of Frenzy, I'm surprised no one's mentioned him. He's 13.
I know.
Still going strong in these races.
He's in my bad books, actually, Duke of Firenze, because I decided Wolverhampton was the day. Because he'd been running better races all year, and he'd run a 0 to 75 or something at Wolves.
And
he got done a nose, and it still hurts. So
charming kid.
Yeah, but Ornate, actually, he runs a lot in the King George, the big sprint on Friday. He actually leads that. When Batash used to run in that race, Ornate would be in front of it halfway. That's how fast Ornate is.
Fast, yeah.
He's very, very, very fast. So it's great to watch him. He's been a great old stick down the years.
Oh, he's been absolutely...
He first ran in Goodwood in August 2013.
August 2013. Wow. So try to think who would have won the Sussex that year. It would have been the year after Frankel.
Oh my goodness.
The year after Frankel won the Sussex, or Nate turned up for the first time at Goodwood. Marvellous.
Well, do you know, you mentioned before about middle of the track.
Yes.
Do you know what my pick is?
What?
Atlas Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
bit of back class.
To be fair, he ran a really solid race at York last time behind that new sprint sensation, of course, Royal Acclaim. This was despite, when I was watching the replay, getting quite a good bump at the start. It was far from ideal. He got a good bump as the stalls opened, basically. Then he raced really freely, because of course you would, because over a quick distance and you get bumped, you'd be livid, which, you know, it's not, like I said, it's far from ideal. And he was probably a bit free because it was his first run since being gelded. That can also happen. And I just thought, it's 17 days since he last ran. He's down a few pounds since that September win. I just thought, is there something in that? Like, could the penny drop a bit with Atlas Bay? I mean, the price, it's like 12.5 there, as I can see, because my eyes are now working. It's the last race. But I thought an each way shout in this?
Potentially, yeah. The yard's not a very good season at all. Robert Cowles has not had a good season. I mean, winner in the last fortnight, but it's been a bit of a struggle all year.
Danny Tudhope, on the other hand,
I know. When Cowell comes back, I'll be backing a lot of Cowell horses, but I'll be waiting to see a bit more.
Okay. Well,
they've been notably out of form as far as I'm concerned.
We're technically 2 minutes away, down at the start. I think G-Rod's earlier pointed out the horseflies. A lot of tail swishing going on. I think the horses are getting right peeved off.
Well, would that be the horseflies?
Yeah.
Is it not the fact they're absolutely mad sprinters?
Yeah, both.
They're just tonto sprinters.
It's actually Indian Creek who's
He's not happy with the horse flying.
He's sitting there, he's going, I heard that, or is what he's saying. I heard that. I've got some Mr. D'Souza on my back here. I've got D'Souza on my back. Do you think he's going to stop? No. Is he out?
If I am to pay out, I hope it's because he wins. I hope it's not because he finishes 5th.
Oh no, God, that would be horrific.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it.
Nobody wins.
I like Stephen Loftus, I think he's on the chat, says Carl Burke to the steward's room after Rayon wins.
Can Carl Burke or his representative please make your way to the weighing room?
What happened last night, Carl?
Yeah.
We got lost on the way, is what he said.
Yeah.
Just got lost en route.
And it will go like that. Celsius, then he's been flying along.
Yeah,
2 from
the
2.
race that he won at Newmarket last time was a lot of pace in that race. You remember that at the July course?
Step up in class, this, but looks.
He finishes strongly. He's a deep closer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Deep closer.
Do not talk about aubergines, deep closers, or a stiff finish. Do not.
Oh dear.
It's already 9 minutes past 4. We made it through the day without getting into too much trouble, I think.
Too many Natalie innuendos, yeah.
We might have a debrief afterwards, don't know.
Oh dear, you've not done that, have you?
And equality, look at that. I mean, again, one of those dash ones. You didn't, but just held off Mocateel. It was like a short head to third or something like that. But had plenty to do 2 furlongs out. But drawn the wrong side of the track, if we.
We don't know yet. That's the thing. We'll know in 10 minutes. We'll know for the next race. So
here comes the money for Rayon. Look.
Here comes the
9
money.
to 1, 17 to 2, 8 to 1.
I can't believe they're listening to you.
Yeah, the 9.6 is G-Rod's horse, 7-8 quality, 8 Celsius has been really steady, 9.2 Dusky Lord is strong as well, Indian Creek strong at 12.5, Lehu, on the other side of the track, on 3 for Holly Doyle, is at 13, some money for that.
The other thing I mentioned here, obviously we're talking about Ornate and Duke of Firenze earlier, they are both significantly out the weights. Duke of Firenze by about £16.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about these horses.
You call that a social runner, would you?
Just about. I mean, he's 13 now, isn't it? Everyone runs a social run when you're 13, Barry.
Just glamorous, just for our viewers that can't maybe see the picture we're seeing. Number 8 has just got the blindfold on, was reluctant to load, but has loaded. Keith Melrose is going to call this home.
And they're fast and furious, 5 furlongs at Goodwood.
They're in.
And they're off. And we've got a fairly even break there. It looks like Ornate was on the far side there, wasn't the quickest away. So on the Night on Earth is the first out. We thought that would be the case.
Yeah.
And yes, Indian Creek has just gone straight to the rail. But interesting, Fairly Larson has come down the middle of the track, relatively speaking.
He was looking, wasn't he?
We've also got Lord Rutherford up there.
They're all coming over now to the stand side, aren't they?
They're starting to drift across now. It's hard to say really, but what we've got Equality on the far side that you can see there. We've got Lehu on the far side. You've got Ornate too. Now Celsius is right up there. Just Glamorous is struggling to go there.
Come on,
what we've got near, so got
Rayon.
Rayon's coming here and running a massive race. Or is it a Defiant? No, it's a Defiant that's running a big race. But Night on Earth is not coming back, is he? Night on Earth out in front, but here comes to the far side Equality. Lehu and Equality finishing quite straightly there, and Dusky Lord finishing there too. Night on Earth is still just about in front, but Dusky Lord's coming to get him, I think. On the far side, Ornate's still got a mighty chance. But Night on Earth's still in front, I think. And here comes Ornate on the far side. He's got him though. No, it is Lord Rutherford, you're right.
There is some.
Did Ornate win?
Lord Rutherford won it. No, Lord Rutherford won it. I got it wrong all the way through.
Barry, that is the most mental. I know you've been in this studio, Barry, but there is some mental people running outside.
calling the wrong horse, unfortunately. I got Lord Rutherford and
Keith, you're sacked. Well, join me. We're both
Rutherford
going.
won the race last year.
He did indeed.
Last year when it won the race, yeah.
Lord Rutherford from
off 88 this year, only a pound more.
And Lord Rutherford from 2.
I didn't think the ground would be soft enough for him, to tell you the truth, but they've obviously put plenty of water on.
Lord Rutherford was because he's
John Quinn and his sprinters as well.
Other
Or just
one
John Quinn in general. I mean, come on, let's get some race reactions. That was amazing. Lord Rutherford has taken the 410, but to be fair, Barry did make a case for him pre-race. That was good. I thought Night on Earth had a chance to stay.
He got the right sort of ride for Goodwood over 5. He's got no excuses.
Right up the middle.
right up the middle, the middle of the
And
15.
we were wrong about Rayong.
And Equality in 1 has finished run a mighty race. Li Hu, who was drawn in 3, has run a mighty race. It's basically those low numbers have massively held sway here. Equality's not really seen it out. Dusky Lord's just getting going at the end. He is a better 5 furlong, a more even 5 furlongs. Dusky Lord's going to win a big race. Oh, look, Night on Earth nearly comes off at the start. And still
he nearly came off at Frederick Larson. He nearly came off at Night on Earth. Your horses ran well, Keith, considering he was last with about a furlong and a half to go. You didn't want to be on that stand rail by the look of it.
No, it doesn't look at all.
He's only beaten Lytton over maybe 2 lengths.
So we'll have a look. I mean, I didn't see Indian Creek where he finished, to be honest, but who gets across and knocks, the Defiant comes across and gets in front of him. You're right, he probably hasn't quite, 5 furlong at Goodwood maybe has been a bit too sharp for him, Barry, but 5 furlongs elsewhere might be what he needs, or a stiff 5, easy 6 sort of horse. But Night on Earth blasted out down the middle. Duke of Firenze, I had a moment to think, but there's very little action on that stand side rail. Dusky Lord's carrying his head a little bit awkwardly there, but it's staying on really quite well. You want to be on that far side.
What are you giggling at?
All Night wins. Oh no, Lord Ridderford actually won.
Yeah, I know.
Carl Brooks, well done.
No, well done.
Well, he's not coming back.
No, I'm not commentating again. Not commentating again.
I thought you did a good job.
Tell you what,
that can happen to anyone.
A 5 furlong sprint. I mean, 1 was grey though, so I probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh, dear.
I mean, the silks are really easy to confuse.
Yeah, but that's
one's grey.
classic. That's classic.
Richard Hoyles, your job is safe.
It is indeed
Do you know
safe.
what? That is absolutely classic. Is it the only grey as well in the field? Oh, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's the only grey in the field.
Oh,
But
stop
it. I got told 2 minutes. Well, a minute before we went on air, I was commentating, but I should have spotted the grey, shouldn't I? Commentators say the first thing they'll tell you is don't get fixated on the silks, look for the greys first. And I've not done it.
Well,
but yeah, it's
gentlemen.
But yeah, 5:55. Back to low numbers.
Gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure today. Thank you for really carrying me along, keeping this seat nice and warm for Dave Water. As I said earlier, we've got so much to look forward to. This is just day 1. Back with you tomorrow, G-Rod.
Yeah, looking forward to tomorrow.
Roscoe in the hot seat.
I really hope Boyd gets paid.
Barry Orr, thank you as always, and well done, Barry, because you are the trophy winner today. You are the trophy winner.
It's a hollow victory if I'm not there to rub it in G-Rod's face.
I was just about to boo.
Just about to. Well, we are going to go and commiserate, celebrate, whatever, go to the pub. But hopefully you've enjoyed joining us on Racing Post Live here this afternoon for our first day of Glorious Goodwood. We are back tomorrow for more action, so do tune in, like, subscribe, share. Love hearing from you, so thank you for all your interaction. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 1:30, and we'll try and be on time.